As supervisors, we juggle many responsibilities, supporting RBT development, ensuring client outcomes, and maintaining meaningful supervision. Today, we'll explore how to streamline this process with a structured feedback loop that fosters growth and collaboration. As BCBA supervisors, we've all been there. Feedback doesn't stick, RBT's feeling overwhelmed, and client outcomes stagnating. You put time and effort into delivering thoughtful guidance, but the same issues resurface session after session. It's frustrating, not just for you, but for your RBTs who want to improve but may feel stuck or unsure how to implement your feedback. The challenges seem endless, and progress feels just out of reach. Why does this happen? Often, the issue isn't about dedication or skills, it's about systemic barriers. Most of us step into supervision with little formal training, navigating high caseloads, administrative demands, and little support. Without a structured system for delivering and following up on feedback, things fall through the cracks. Even the most thoughtful guidance can lose its impact in the chaos. It's not surprising that burnout creeps in, making it even harder to focus on effective supervision. Now, imagine a different scenario. What if you had a structured feedback loop to guide your supervision? A process that made it easier to assess skills, set goals, and track progress, ensuring feedback was clear, actionable, and collaborative. This isn't about doing more, it's about working smarter. With the right framework, supervision becomes a tool for real, measurable growth. Your RBTs thrive, your clients benefit, and you experience the rewards of impactful, efficient supervision. Hi, I'm Christy Wilson. With nearly 20 years in the field of ABA and over a decade as a BCBA, I have seen the transformative power of effective supervision, especially when feedback is implemented to drive skill development. One common challenge is ensuring that feedback is not only understood but effectively applied by RBTs in their daily work. This training provides practical strategies and tools to make feedback clear, actionable, and motivating. You'll learn how to create a feedback loop that fosters consistent growth and improved client outcomes. If your feedback isn't making the impact you expected, this course offers a structured approach to turn it into a powerful tool for RBT development. You'll leave with techniques that you can immediately apply to support your RBTs and build stronger, more collaborative supervisory relationships. Let's work together to create a growth focused environment where feedback drives meaningful progress for your team and your clients. I am excited to guide you on this journey to enhance your supervisory skills. Before we dive in, let's go over a few housekeeping items. Here's how this training will work. You'll hear several code words throughout the training. Make sure to write them down as they appear. You'll need them for the post-training quiz. At the end of this session, you'll complete a short quiz which will include questions about the code words and the content that you've covered. Once you've passed the quiz, you'll receive your CEU certificate. Feel free to pause and replay sections if you need more time to process the information. This training is designed to fit your schedule. All right, this brings us to the solution, the coach framework. Designed as a powerful tool for supervisors, the coach framework provides a structure needed to overcome the challenges of ineffective feedback. Instead of feedback being a one-time event, this framework transforms it into an ongoing interactive dialogue, one that fosters collaboration, accountability, and continuous growth. With the coach framework, you'll create a feedback process that drives real progress, empowers your RBTs, and strengthens client outcomes. First, we start with a collaborative assessment, which sets the stage for understanding RBT strengths and areas for growth, making the RBT an active participant in their development. Then, organized goals and action plans. This ensures that both RBT growth and client outcome are prioritized with clear, actionable targets to aim for. Next, applying feedback and structured supervision. This transforms feedback into a consistent practice, allowing for continuous check ins and revisions that reinforce learning. Followed by that is coaching for growth, where we empower RBTs to take ownership of their development, creating a dynamic supervisory relationship built on mutual respect and insight. And then finally, harnessing a feedback loop. This cultivates a culture of ongoing dialogue where feedback flows in both directions and fosters continuous improvement. By implementing this framework, you can break free from the cycle of frustration and create a robust system where feedback leads to tangible results. With the right tools and strategies in place, you will be equipped to support your RBTs more effectively, ensuring they not only receive valuable feedback, but also apply it in meaningful ways. In the upcoming sections of this training, we will delve deeper into each component of the coach framework, providing you with practical strategies and tools to implement in your supervisory practice, ultimately leading to enhanced growth for your RBTs and improved outcomes for your clients. Let's embark on this journey to transform your feedback practices and cultivate a thriving, collaborative environment for everyone involved in the process. Collaborative assessments serve as the foundation for effective supervision, establishing a productive supervisory relationship between BCBA supervisors and RBTs. It is the cornerstone of effective RBT development. Collaborative assessment begins with trust and mutual respect, where RBTs feel heard and valued in the process. When we create an environment of open dialogue and two-way feedback, it fosters a sense of partnership that motivates RBTs to engage and grow. This foundation sets the stage for meaningful, personalized growth, ensuring that the supervision process feels supportive rather than directive. By starting with collaboration, we can transform assessments into opportunities for professional and personal development, benefiting both the RBT and their clients. Collaborative assessment empowers RBTs by actively involving them in their own growth process. When RBTs have a voice in identifying their strengths and areas for improvement, it fosters a sense of ownership over their learning and professional development. This process also highlights the importance of cultural competency. By incorporating diverse perspectives, supervisors can gain valuable insights into the unique backgrounds of both RBTs and clients. This awareness informs goal setting and feedback, leading to more effective and culturally sensitive interventions. Ultimately, when RBTs feel empowered and included, they are more motivated, confident, and committed to achieving meaningful outcomes for themselves and their clients. Tailored feedback is one of the key strengths to collaborative assessment. Each RBT brings a unique set of skills, experiences, and challenges to their role. By adapting the feedback process to their specific needs and professional context, supervisors can ensure that guidance is relevant and impactful. A structured approach to feedback not only personalizes supervision, but also provides a clear framework for assessing progress. This objectivity allows supervisors to ground feedback in observable data, making it actionable and transparent. When assessments are tailored and systematic, they create a roadmap for each RBT's growth, aligning the supervision with their goals and demands of their work environment. This personalized, structured approach fosters engagement and sustained improvement. The collaborative assessment process creates opportunities for meaningful conversations about performance and professional growth. These discussions can lead to deeper insights and a shared understanding of expectations. When RBTs see that feedback is part of a larger development conversation, they are more likely to view it as constructive and actionable. Collaborative assessment offers several key benefits that make it a vital part of effective supervision. By identifying strengths and growth areas, supervisors can provide targeted guidance that directly assesses RBT needs. This approach doesn't just enhance individual performance, it improves client outcomes. Tailored strategies that emerge from collaborative assessments ensure interventions are more effective and aligned with client goals. Additionally, collaborative assessment serves as a professional development tool, helping RBTs see clear pathways for growth. When supervision feels purposeful and supportive, it empowers RPTs to invest in their development, creating a win win scenario for both the team and the clients that they serve. Continuous improvement is at the heart of collaborative assessment. This process isn't a one time event, it's an ongoing journey where regular process tracking keeps growth on course. Celebrating milestones, even small ones, is crucial. Recognizing achievements reinforces motivation and demonstrates that hard work is valuable. This positive reinforcement not only builds confidence but also strengthens the supervisor RBT relationship. When supervisors emphasize recognition and celebration, they create a culture where growth is both expected and rewarding. This approach transforms assessment into a supportive journey that inspires RBTs to remain engaged and invested in their professional development. By integrating collaborative assessment into your supervision practices and utilizing assessment, you are taking significant steps towards transforming your approach. This structured partnership driven method empowers you as a supervisor while fostering a culture of growth among your RBTs, ultimately improving client outcomes. Before we move on, take a moment to reflect on your current supervisory practices. How do you foster trust with your supervisees? In what ways do you encourage them to take ownership of their professional growth? Are you tailoring your feedback to meet the unique needs of each of your RBTs? How do you measure the impact of your supervision on client outcomes? Are there specific indicators that you monitor? Identifying what you're already doing well and where there's room for growth will help you, as the supervisor, integrate these strategies into your practice more effectively. A central element of this transformation is establishing a feedback loop within the assessment process. Rather than being a one time event, feedback becomes a continuous, iterative exchange that drives ongoing improvement. Research by Hattie and Timberley in 2007 highlights that feedback has its greatest impact when it is specific, timely, and ongoing, as this helps learners adjust and build their skills based on real time performance insights. Black and William in 1998 also emphasized that embedding feedback in a cyclical process, where performance is regularly monitored and refined, leads to stronger skill retention and effective practice changes. In this structure, supervisors provide actionable feedback, allow RBTs to apply these insights in practice, and then revisit progress in subsequent sessions. This feedback loop not only supports long term skill development, but also empowers RBTs to actively participate in their growth, promoting a supervisory environment focused on continuous learning, reflection, and client centered care. A feedback loop helps bridge the gap between the initial assessment and the long term skill acquisition. In practice, this loop encourages RBTs to engage in self reflection, take ownership of their growth, and understand that supervision is a continuous journey rather than a series of isolated assessments. By revisiting feedback regularly, supervisors also create opportunities to celebrate incremental progress and make real time adjustments to the RBT's goals and training plans, reinforcing that positive behaviors and refining areas that need further development. A feedback loop is, in essence, the backbone of the collaborative assessment process, ensuring that each piece of the feedback connects meaningfully with the next. This iterative approach not only aligns with best practices in learning and development, but it also creates a supportive supervisory environment where growth is celebrated, goals are flexible, and improvement is continuous. To fully leverage the benefits of this approach, it's essential to introduce collaborative assessment effectively within supervision. Presenting this as a joint effort not only encourages RBT buy in, but also establishes a strong foundation for ongoing growth. Next, we'll explore how to introduce collaborative assessment as a powerful, partnership driven tool, setting the stage for a feedback rich, development focused supervision structure. Introducing the concept of collaborative assessment to RBTs is a pivotal step in fostering a productive supervisory relationship and enhancing overall practice. As BCBA supervisors, your role extends beyond merely evaluating performance. It encompasses empowering RBTs to take ownership of their professional growth. In this section, we'll explore effective strategies for presenting collaborative assessment as a partnership focused on mutual development. By enhancing the value of open dialogue, shared goals, and reciprocal feedback, you can create an environment where RBTs feel supported and motivated to engage in learning journeys. We'll look at practical tips and a guided script to help you initiate this conversation, ensuring that RBTs understand the benefits of collaboration and feel invested in the assessment process. Let's dive into how to set the stage for a meaningful and constructive dialogue that enhances both individual and collective success. Before we move on, here is your first code word: feedback. FEEDBACK, feedback. When introducing collaborative assessment into your supervision practice with your RBT, you'll want to ensure that you frame collaborative assessment as a partnership aimed at enhancing their professional growth. Explain the benefits such as personalized feedback and shared goals, which can lead to improved client outcomes. Use a casual setting like a team meeting to introduce the idea, encouraging open dialogue about the process and its importance. Share your enthusiasm for working together to support their development. Here are some strategies to consider when crafting your introduction as you begin this process with your RBT. Start by explaining the goal of collaborative assessment, which is to enhance professional growth to both RBTs and supervisors. Emphasize that it's a joint effort aimed at improving practices and outcomes. For example, you could say something like this: before we dive into the assessment process, I want to take a moment to explain why we're doing this. The purpose of collaborative assessment isn't just about checking boxes or evaluating performance. It's about both of us working together to support your growth and development. It's not just me telling you what to do to improve. It's about you having a voice in this process too. Our goal here is to strengthen your skills so that you feel more confident and capable in your role. It's a joint effort between us to make sure you're not only meeting the needs of your clients, but also growing professionally. By working together, we can pinpoint what's going well and identify areas where we can focus more attention. Think of it as a roadmap of your professional development. Throughout this process, you'll have input. We'll assess where you feel confident and where you'd like more support. From there, we'll come up with concrete, actionable goals that you and I will work on together. I want this to feel like a partnership where we're both invested in your success. Whatever you say, you'll want to avoid jargon and complex terminology. Use straightforward language to explain what collaborative assessment is and how it works. This makes the concept more accessible and relatable. Discuss how collaborative assessment benefits everyone involved. Explain that it provides RBTs with targeted feedback while also giving supervisors insights into their own practices and areas for development. For example, you could say something like this: I also want to make sure that you see how this process benefits both of us. For you, it's a chance to really get specific feedback on things that matter most in your day-to-day work. It's not about looking for problems, it's about helping you sharpen your skills that you already have and providing support in the areas where you feel less confident. At the same time, this process helps me grow as a supervisor. By understanding your perspective and seeing how we work together on these goals, I want insights into my own practices. If there's anything that I can do differently to help you succeed, I want to know that. So this isn't a one-way street. Your feedback is valuable to me as mine is to you. So really, the collaborative assessment helps both of us improve. It gives us a clearer picture of where we're strong and where we can work together to improve. By doing this, we can create a more supportive and effective working relationship, which ultimately helps the clients that we serve. It'll be very important that you also invite your RBTs to ask questions and express any concerns that they may have about the assessment process. This fosters an open dialogue and helps address any apprehensions up front. To do this, you could say something like, before we move forward with the collaborative assessment process, I want to make sure that you feel comfortable and understand everything. This is a team effort, and I value your input. So, if you have any questions or concerns about how this will work or what's expected, please don't hesitate to ask. It's important that you feel confident and clear on the purpose of the process, and I'm here to help address any thoughts or worries you might have. What's on your mind? Is there anything you'd like to clarify before we begin? Provide examples of how collaborative assessment has positively impacted other RBTs and teams. Sharing success stories can motivate and inspire RBTs to engage in this process. Assure RBTs that this process is designed to be supportive, not punitive. Emphasize that feedback is meant to promote growth and that their input is valued. Clearly outline how the collaborative assessment will work in practice. Discuss the steps involved, such as the self assessment, feedback sessions, and goal setting, to provide clarity on what to expect. To say all this, you could try something like this. Let me walk you through how this collaborative assessment process will work. First, we'll start with a self assessment. This gives you a chance to reflect on your own performance and identify areas where you feel strong or where you might want more support. It's a key part of the process because your perspective is just as important as mine. After you complete the self assessment, we'll schedule a feedback session where we can go over the results together. This isn't about pointing out what's wrong, it's about having an open conversation about what's working well and where we can make improvements. We'll use the feedback from both of us to set clear, actionable goals moving forward. Then, each month during supervision, we'll revisit those goals to check on progress. This way, we're always working toward meaningful improvements and nothing gets overlooked. You'll always know exactly what to expect, and we'll be tracking our progress together. Overall, the process is about making sure that we're both aligned, clear on expectations, and working towards the same goal. It's meant to be a transparent, supportive way to help you develop your skills and improve client outcomes. Encourage RBTs to contribute to the assessment criteria or questions. This involvement can increase their investment in the process and ensure that it reflects their unique needs and goals. Try saying something like this. I want to make sure that this assessment really reflects your work and what matters most in your day-to-day tasks. So, before we dive in, I'd love to get your input on some of the criteria or questions we're using in the assessment. For example, if there's an area you feel especially important in your role, or maybe a skill you'd like to focus on more, we can add that into your assessment process. This way, the goals we set together can directly connect to the things that matter most to you and your growth as an RBT. Your input will help ensure that we're covering everything you need to feel confident and successful in your work with clients. Do you have any thoughts on specific skills or areas you'd like to prioritize in this assessment? You'll definitely want to approach the conversation with enthusiasm and positivity. Your attitude can set the tone for how RBTs perceive the collaborative assessment process. Offer resources or materials that explain collaborative assessment in more details also. This could include handouts, worksheets, or links to relevant articles or videos. Be sure to reassure your RBTs of your ongoing commitment to their development. Let them know that this process is part of a larger effort to support their growth and enhance team effectiveness. You could try saying, I want you to know that I am fully committed to supporting your growth and success as an RBT. This collaborative assessment process is just one part of our ongoing efforts to make sure that you're equipped with the skills and feedback you need to thrive in your role. My goal is to work with you, not only to improve performance, but also to help you feel more confident and effective in your daily responsibilities. Remember, this process is a partnership. I'm here to guide you, provide feedback, and ensure that we are both continually improving. Together, we can create an environment where you feel supported, heard, and empowered to reach your full potential. After you do an initial instruction or introduction, plan to check in with the RBTs about their thoughts on the collaborative assessment process. This follow up demonstrates your investment in their feedback and helps refine the approach as needed. All right, let's put it all together. Here is how a conversation could look with your RBT introducing collaborative assessment. Now remember, as you're speaking, allow space for the RBT to interject so that you ensure that they're able to be involved in the conversation as well. Here we go. I want to take some time to discuss a new approach we're going to be implementing in our supervision sessions, something I'm calling collaborative assessment. This approach is about more than just evaluating how you're doing. It's about creating an open dialogue where we can both share feedback and grow together. I believe that when we work collaboratively, we can enhance both your skills and my support for you. So, what does this mean for us? Well, during our assessment sessions, we'll be using a structured tool to guide our conversations. This tool will help us identify not only your strengths and areas for development, but also how I can better support you in those areas. I do want to emphasize this is a two-way street. As we review your performance, I encourage you to share your thoughts on my supervision as well. What's working for you? What could I do differently to help you succeed? Your insights are invaluable to me. This isn't just about a checklist, though. It's about having an open dialogue. If you're facing challenges or have ideas on how we can improve our practices, I want to hear about them. It's important that we both feel comfortable discussing our experiences. After we assess your skills and gather feedback from each other, we'll collaboratively set goals that are meaningful for both of us. These goals will not only focus on your professional development, but also how I can adjust my supervisory approach to better meet your needs. Finally, I see this as an ongoing process. We will regularly revisit our assessments and goals so that we can track our progress together. This way, we can celebrate your successes and make adjustments as needed. I am really excited about this collaborative approach, and I believe it will enhance our work together and improve the quality of services that we provide to our clients. Do you have any questions or thoughts about this process? Incorporating collaborative assessment into your supervisory practice may initially appear to be an additional burden, but it is a transformative approach that can streamline your existing processes and enhance the effectiveness of your supervision. By integrating structured assessments into your routine, you are not only addressing immediate feedback needs, but also fostering an environment of continuous professional growth for both RBTs and yourself. Understanding the collaborative assessment process involves several key steps, including self assessment, feedback sessions, and goal setting. Each step is designed to encourage reflection and open communication, which are essential for a productive supervisory relationship. Self assessment is particularly crucial as it empowers RBTs to take an active role in their development by reflecting on their strengths and areas for improvement. This empowerment leads to increased engagement and accountability, enabling RBTs to own their learning journeys. Research highlights that when supervisors and RBTs actively engage in this process, it leads to improved understandings of performance levels, stronger professional relationships, and ultimately better client outcomes. Additionally, self assessment fosters a culture of reflection, encouraging RBTs to regularly evaluate their own practices and progress, which can inform subsequent feedback sessions and goal setting discussions. As you implement these steps, remember that the goal is not just to collect data, but to facilitate meaningful discussion that enhance learning and development. By embracing collaborative assessment and emphasizing self assessment skills, you align your supervisory efforts with evidence based practices that support a culture of accountability and continuous improvement. This creates a comprehensive framework that benefits both RBTs and clients, making it a win win situation for everyone involved. Engaging RBTs in self assessment and collaborative assessment processes can be a challenge for BCBA supervisors. Despite the potential benefits of this approach, RBTs often face significant barriers that can hinder their active participation. In this section, we will explore some barriers in detail, including time constraints, emotional and cognitive barriers, and the importance of securing buy in from RBTs. Alongside identifying these challenges, we'll also provide practical solutions to help mitigate these issues and improve RBT engagement. I want you to take a minute to think. What are some common barriers that you've encountered when implementing collaborative assessments? How can you address these barriers in your supervisory practice? Let's look more. One of the most common challenges RBTs face when engaging in self assessment is lack of time. When the demands of client schedules and daily tasks, RBTs may feel overwhelmed by the prospect of adding self assessment to their workload. This is especially true if the assessment tool appears long, complex, or requires substantial reflection. To address time constraints, the assessment process can be seamlessly integrated into existing supervision meetings. Instead of overwhelming the RBT with a comprehensive self assessment all at once, supervisors can review one section of the assessment per meeting. This approach not only spreads out the workload, but also ensures that the assessment process aligns with ongoing supervision goals. By reviewing specific areas of the assessment throughout the month, both the supervisor and the RBT can engage in focused, time efficient discussions without adding an extra burden. You can consider these kind of like micro assessment strategies, where RBTs reflect on their performance in one or two target areas during each supervision session. This allows them to provide thoughtful feedback in manageable portions while ensuring consistent progress over time. You could say something like this to your RBT to use this strategy. I know time is tight and you're juggling a lot already with your client schedules. I don't want this self assessment process to feel like another task on your to do list. What we can do is break it up into smaller sections. During each of our supervision meetings, we'll just focus on one part of the assessment. This way, it's more manageable, and we can dive deeper into specific areas over time without feeling rushed. We'll start by reviewing how you feel about your client interactions this month. It will only take a few minutes, and we can use that to guide our conversations on what's going well and where we can focus improvement. This strategy will likely integrate more smoothly in sessions that allow for one on one feedback and discussion. However, there will be some sessions where there will be greater challenge of incorporating collaborative assessment without disrupting the flow of the session. Let's consider a common supervision scenario. Sessions where the RBT is continuously focused on the client, leaving little to no opportunity for check-ins or side conversations. In these cases, we need flexible, embedded approaches to maintain the value of assessment and feedback without formal breaks in the session. The following strategies are designed to support ongoing assessment within intensive client-centered sessions, ensuring that this process remains effective and practical in all supervision environments. You could try this one. Have the RBT complete a self-assessment or reflection form before the session, rating their confidence and experiences on specific tasks or skills. This input can serve as a starting point for feedback and goal discussions, allowing you to focus on key insights without needing lengthy side conversations during the session. You could also create a brief checklist or short prompts that the RBT can complete on their phone or tablet, saving time while still giving you valuable insight into areas of need. Or you could also try this. Instead of verbally discussing feedback in real time, you can observe the RBT's performance and complete relevant sections of the assessment tool yourself. Provide written feedback to the RBT at the end of the session or at a later time when they're able to review it. This written feedback should include clear, actionable items, reinforcing areas of strength and identifying specific steps to address any identified areas for growth. Schedule a brief video or phone call after the supervision session or on a separate day to review the assessment tool together. This allows for a more flexible debrief that fits within your schedules, addressing areas identified in the assessment while not interfering with client engagement. Alternatively, record a brief voice note or summary of your observations and suggestions, which the RBT can listen when they have a few moments. You could try this one too. Consider using a digital platform that allows for discrete real-time feedback through private comments or alerts. For instance, you could log observations in an app or secure messaging tool that the RBT can later view at their convenience without breaking the flow of client engagement. This approach also creates a record of feedback and development over time, which you can easily review together at a later date. If the client session includes natural breaks, such as a snack time, you could use these brief moments to give a snapshot of your feedback. Prioritize one or two specific points from the assessment tool, keeping the feedback brief and focused, which can then be elaborated upon at a later check-in date. Over time, these short feedback intervals can still cover all aspects of the assessment tool without needing a dedicated lengthy conversation. If both of you are documenting in a shared system or notes application, add comments related to the assessment tool in a way that is accessible for the RBT to view later. This can provide ongoing feedback without verbal exchanges, as the RBT can view and reflect on these notes during that time that doesn't interfere with client interaction. Any of these strategies allow the assessment tool to be a flexible part of the supervision process, adapting seamlessly to both high demand sessions and varied supervision structures. Over time, this integrated approach builds a strong framework that supports RBT growth and professional development, even with client intensive environments. By meeting RBTs where they are and embedding assessment practices into the natural flow of supervision, supervisors not only reduce the time burden, but also reinforce a culture of continuous improvement and responsiveness to real time needs. This adaptability makes the assessment process feel less like an additional task and more like an essential ongoing conversation. For some RBTs, a lack of self awareness can hinder the accuracy and usefulness of their self assessment. This may struggle to recognize their own strengths and weaknesses, or they may not have a clear understanding of how their performance aligns with expectations. Supervisors can help RBTs develop self awareness by incorporating reflective exercises into the assessment process. Before diving into specific assessment items, ask RBTs open ended questions that encourage self reflection. For example, what tasks do you feel most confident about? Or what skills do you think could be improved? This primes the RBT to think critically about their own performance and prepares them for more accurate self assessment. Provide objective data or examples from previous sessions to help the RBT compare their self perception with actual performance. This helps create a balanced view of their work and can guide more meaningful goal setting. For this scenario, you could say something like this: sometimes it's hard to recognize our own strengths in areas that need work. That's totally normal. To help you reflect, I'll ask a few open ended questions to get us started. For example, think about a time this month where you felt really confident working with a client. What was going on in that moment? Once you've had a chance to reflect, we can look at some of the data from your recent sessions and compare that with your self assessment. This will help us see if your perceptions match up with the feedback when the clients or the data from what we've collected. Many RBTs feel apprehensive about participating in self assessment due to the fear of judgment. The idea of scrutinizing their own performance can cause anxiety, especially if they worry that their weaknesses will be seen as failures. To reduce the fear of judgment, supervisors should clearly communicate that self assessment is not about criticism, but about growth. Reframing the process as a collaborative opportunity for development rather than an evaluation can help alleviate some of that anxiety. Supervisors can emphasize that identifying areas for improvement is a normal part of professional growth, and that the assessment is designed to support and not penalize the RBT. Start by acknowledging the RBT's strengths before addressing areas for improvement. Positive reinforcement can build confidence and create a more open environment for self reflection. Creating a safe space for feedback will encourage honest participation and reduce the emotional weight of the assessment. When you have a case like this, try saying something related to this. I understand that the idea of assessing yourself can feel a bit uncomfortable. It's easy to worry about what will happen if things aren't perfect. But I want to stress that this process is all about growth and not judgment. We're using this to help you keep getting better, not to point fingers. It's really a tool for us to work together on your professional development. Let's start by talking about what's going well. I want to make sure that we recognize the things that you're doing great at before we talk about any areas to improve. That way, you can see this process as an opportunity to keep building on those strengths that you have. RBTs, like most individuals, are susceptible to positive biases, a tendency to view their own performance in a more favorable light. This can lead to inflated self assessments that don't reflect actual performance. To counteract positive bias, supervisors can align self assessments with objective data. This may include performance metrics, session notes, or client outcomes that help ground the RBT self reflection in tangible evidence. Comparing self assessments with data driven feedback allows for a more accurate evaluation of performance. After the RBT completes their self assessment, the supervisor can compare it with their own assessment and discuss any discrepancies. This promotes an open dialogue where both parties can explore different perspectives and ensure a well rounded understanding of performance. Try saying something like this when you introduce this idea. It's natural to feel like you're doing well, and that's a great thing. But sometimes may not be able to see the full picture. That's why it can be helpful to look at the data we have on your performance. For example, we'll compare your self assessment with the feedback from clients or session notes. This helps us get a greater view of where things are really at. After you complete your self assessment, I'll do the same for you. Then we can sit down together and compare. This isn't about finding faults, but about making sure that we're both seeing the same thing and focusing on the right areas. Lastly, RBTs may not see the value in self assessment, especially if they feel like the process is more administrative than meaningful. Without buy in, the assessment process can feel like an obligation rather than an opportunity for growth. Supervisors can secure buy in by clearly demonstrating how self assessment benefits the RBT. This includes explaining how the process directly supports their professional development, enhances their skill set, and leads to better client outcomes. Supervisors should position the assessment as a tool for the RBT's growth rather than a checklist for compliance. Encourage RBTs to take ownership of their development by making them active participants in setting goals based on their self assessment. By involving them in the decision making process and showing how their feedback informs their development plan, RBTs are more likely to feel invested in the process and motivated to engage. Try saying something like this. I know it might seem like self assessment is just another form to fill out, but it's actually a really important part of your professional growth. The more you engage in this process, the more we can tailor your development to the areas that you care about. By participating, you're taking control of your own progress, really. You'll get the chance to set your own goals based on the assessment, and I'm here to support you in reaching those goals. Think of it as your opportunity to steer your development. I'm here to help you get there, and together we'll track your progress to make sure that you're on the right path. Some other strategies to encourage buy in could include these. Frame the process as an opportunity for the RBT to develop their skills and improve professionally. Highlight how engaging in assessments and feedback directly supports their growth, making them better prepared for future challenges and potential career advancement. You could say something like this to them. By taking part in this process, you're investing in your own development. These skills and insights you gain will help you not just in your current role, but as you continue to grow in the field. Make it clear that assessments are tools for learning and growth and not criticism. Establish a supportive environment where the RBT feels safe sharing honest reflections on their performance. You could say something like this. This is a safe space. The assessment isn't about finding faults, it's about learning what's working and what we can work on together to ensure that you're feeling confident in your role. Engaging RBTs in setting their own goals based on the assessment results can increase their investment in the process. When individuals have a say in shaping their development, they are more likely to be committed to the improvement plan. Consider saying something like this. After we complete the assessment, I would love for you to help set the goals that feel most important to you. Your input is essential in shaping a path toward that you feel motivated to achieve. Recognize the efforts RBTs put into self assessments and their openness to feedback. Acknowledge their strengths and improvements, as this can boost confidence and encourage further participation. Say something like, I've noticed the hard work that you've been putting in, and that's exactly what this process is about. Continuing to build on what you're already doing amazingly with. Show the RBTs how the process will make their job easier and more fulfilling. For example, explain that gaining insight into areas for improvement will help them manage clients more effectively and with less stress. For example, you could say, by going through this process, you'll have clearer steps to handle challenging situations with clients. It will give you more confidence and save time down the road. Introduce elements of fun or challenge, such as achieving milestones in their development. This approach can motivate RBTs to see the assessment as a dynamic, engaging part of their professional life. Try saying, think of this as reaching milestones in a game. We can set small, manageable goals that over time bring you a new level of proficiency. Be transparent about how the assessment will be used and ensure that RBTs understand it's a collaborative effort aimed at their success. Clear communication reduces anxiety and increases trust in the process. To your RBTs, you could say something like this: You can trust that this process is fully collaborative. We'll use the results to guide us both in making this experience work best for you. Integrating peer collaboration can be a powerful solution. Many RBTs may feel hesitant or uncertain about engaging fully in self assessment, especially if they see it as a solitary or evaluative task. However, research suggests that involving peers in the process through peer assessment or observations can increase engagement and enhance learning outcomes. When RBTs observe one another or participate in peer feedback, they gain exposure to different perspectives and effective practices, which can help them better understand their own strengths and areas for growth. This experience not only makes the assessment process feel more collaborative, but it also reinforces a team oriented culture where development is a shared journey. Encouraging RBTs to participate in peer observations or feedback sessions can help demystify the assessment process and make it feel less like an evaluation, promoting a sense of shared responsibility for growth and improvement. Supervisors can introduce peer collaboration by arranging structured peer observation opportunities where RBTs can observe and learn from one another in action. Following these observations, RBTs can discuss what they learned, share constructive feedback, and reflect on how they can apply new insights to their own practices. This approach aligns with Topping's 1998 findings that peer feedback has a positive impact on learning outcomes by making the feedback process feel more accessible and less formal, encouraging greater buy in from all participants. By making peer collaboration a regular part of the assessment process, supervisors can foster an environment that values shared learning and support, ultimately boosting RBT buy in and commitment to the collaborative assessment process. Encouraging RBT buy in requires a balance of understanding their concerns while guiding them towards seeing the long term benefits of self reflection and goal setting. With the right support, the collaborative assessment can be a powerful tool that not only improves individual performance, but strengthens the entire supervisory relationship. Up to this point in our training, we've established the foundational importance of collaborative assessment and effective supervision. We've discussed how this process creates an environment where both the BCBA supervisor and RBT works together to identify strengths and areas of development. This cooperative approach helps build trust, ownership, and engagement, essential factors in ensuring that feedback leads to meaningful change. We explored the barriers that often get in the way of successful feedback implementation: lack of time, resources, and formal training in feedback delivery. Supervisors, while equipped with the knowledge of AVA principles, may still struggle to create a structure that translates feedback into action. The assessment process itself can feel disconnected, and often RBTs may not see the relevance of feedback in their own goals, causing it to fall flat. This is where collaborative assessment comes in as a powerful tool to bridge the gap. Through the research that we've reviewed, we've seen how actively involving RBTs in the assessment process not only increases their motivation, but also provides clarity in setting goals. Studies like Black and Willem in 1998 and Hattie and Timperley in 2007 have underscored the impact of clear, specific feedback on performance improvement while integrated with a reflective collaborative approach. The collaborative assessment approach is not simply about identifying deficits. It's about creating a dynamic partnership between the supervisor and the supervisee, leading to sustained growth. By recognizing the strengths of the RBT alongside areas of growth and development, supervisors can craft feedback that is both actionable and empowering, aligning with the ongoing goals of client care. I want you to take time to think for a moment. Reflect on the communication styles that you use during assessments. How can you adapt your communication to better connect with RBTs, especially those who may feel hesitant to share their thoughts? As we've explored, collaborative assessment serves as a powerful foundation for RBT supervision, offering a structured, data driven approach that promotes both growth and accountability. By embedding feedback loops, fostering peer collaboration, and utilizing objective data, supervisors create an environment where RBTs feel supported, motivated, and engaged in their development. Through this process, supervisors and RBTs build a partnership that's focused not only on performance improvement, but also on creating meaningful client outcomes. With a clear understanding of each RBT's strengths and growth areas, the next step is to channel these insights into actionable development plans. In the Organize Goals and Action Plans phase, we'll delve into setting specific, measurable goals that align with the data gathered in the assessment. This approach ensures that each supervision session is purposeful and geared towards continuous, structured progress. Effective goal setting begins with the insights gained during collaborative assessment. By aligning goals directly with the assessment data, supervisors can ensure that each objective is actionable, targeted, and impactful. This connection makes development meaningful and structured. Incorporating cultural competency into the goal setting process is equally critical. Recognizing and respecting the unique backgrounds and strengths of each RBT ensures goals are both relevant and motivating. This tailored approach fosters engagement and demonstrates that their growth matters on a personal level. Finally, goal setting isn't something supervisors do alone. It is a collaborative process. By involving RBTs in setting their own goals, we empower them to take ownership of their development. This partnership not only strengthens their motivation, but also builds trust, making supervision a shared journey towards continuous growth. Bandura in 1997 highlights that individuals are more likely to engage and succeed when their goals are closely tied to their personal growth needs, as identified through assessment. Collaborative assessment that informs goal setting not only builds a strong foundation for skill development, but also fosters a deeper commitment to achieving goals aligned with each RBT's developmental path. Each goal is crafted to be actionable and measurable, offering RBTs attainable milestones that enhance their skills and positively impact client outcomes. Supervisors facilitate this process by breaking down larger goals into smaller, manageable steps, ensuring that each supervision session builds towards consistent progress. Goal setting then becomes the bridge from assessment findings to actionable progress. Instead of overwhelming RBTs with broad expectations, data driven goals make development manageable, structured around prioritized areas for improvement. Locke and Latham in 2002 emphasized that goals are most effective when specific, measurable, and linked to performance data. Using assessment scores and insights, supervisors create targeted goals that address priority areas such as data accuracy or client interaction, as identified in the assessment. Think for a moment. Think about how you currently use assessment data to shape and prioritize goals in your supervision process. You could try reflecting on the following. How can you ensure that assessment results directly influence the prioritization of goals for each RBT? Are there any adjustments you might make in the way that you currently set priorities to better align goals with high impact areas? How might clearer prioritization based on assessment data support the RBT's sense of accomplishment and motivation? Take a moment to consider specific steps you could implement to strengthen the alignment between assessment findings and goal setting. This reflection can guide your approach to creating focused, data driven goals that reinforce the RBT's development path. With a clear roadmap established through collaborative assessment, the next step is to apply proven principles that make goal setting structured, achievable, and impactful. To ensure that each goal is not only aligned with assessment data, but also realistically attainable, supervisors benefit from adopting a systematic approach to goal setting. In the following section, we will explore the principles of effective goal setting, a framework that translates broad developmental needs into specific actionable goals that promote steady growth and measurable outcomes for RBTs. By grounding goal setting in evidence based practices, supervisors can foster a purposeful and motivating supervision experience that keeps RBTs engaged and on track towards their development objectives. Research by Goldwitzer and Sharon in 2006 on implementation intentions supports the power of this structured approach. Their work shows that setting specific measurable intentions greatly enhances follow through by creating a SMART action plan. For RBTs, SMART goals create a roadmap for incremental improvement, which builds confidence as they meet small milestones along the way. Each achieved goal serves as a motivating checkpoint, reinforcing their commitment to the next target. A SMART goal structure also aligns supervision sessions with RBT's real time progress. Rather than discussing vague or unrelated topics, supervisors can direct their feedback and support toward these measurable goals, creating a sense of continuity in each session. This targeted approach provides supervisors and RBTs with a shared understanding of what success looks like and how to achieve it, fostering a transparent and supportive supervision environment. Furthermore, Locke and Latham in 1990 found that goals based on specific performance criteria enhance intrinsic motivation, particularly when feedback is consistent and structured. For RBTs, knowing that each goal is connected to a tangible outcome can be empowering, reinforcing their understanding of how their role impacts client success. By setting SMART goals, supervisors turn assessments into actionable steps that the RBT can track and adjust over time, contributing directly to skill mastery and professional growth. Through SMART goals, supervisors establish a data driven supervision process where assessment results inform progress, and progress is continuously built upon. By translating assessment insights into structured goals, supervisors provide a scaffolded, meaningful approach to RBT development that keeps the focus on achievable, impactful milestones. This not only benefits the RBT's growth, but also creates a measurable path toward enhanced client outcomes. By embedding a structured approach to goal setting and supervision, supervisors can ensure that each goal remains relevant and achievable, adapting as needed by the RBT's developmental journey. This dynamic alignment between goals and real world growth creates a responsive, motivating supervision experience. Additionally, it's vital to recognize how cultural competency plays into a role in goal setting. Understanding and valuing the diverse backgrounds and experiences of our RBTs can enhance the relevance of goals, making them more meaningful and engaging. By incorporating perspectives that acknowledge cultural nuances, supervisors can create an inclusive environment where all RBTs feel empowered to contribute to their goal setting process. Consider practical steps you can implement to refine your goal setting approach, enhancing alignment with each RBT's evolving needs and reinforcing motivation through well defined, measurable objectives. Incorporating visual tools such as progress charts or digital dashboards offers RBTs a tangible way to see their growth unfold, reinforcing their commitment to achieving goals. Visualizing progress not only clarifies each milestone, but also integrates with the feedback loop, providing immediate, motivating snapshots of progress. Research by Schuck and Ertmer in 2000 highlights that visual progress markers can significantly boost self efficacy as they allow individuals to see clear evidence of their achievements. When RBTs regularly observe their advancement displayed visually, it affirms the impact of their efforts, fostering a sense of accomplishment and providing momentum to continue developing. Each visual checkpoint represents both a milestone reached and an opportunity to refine their approach based on data and feedback, keeping the feedback loop active and purposeful. This consistent reinforcement helps RBTs remain motivated and focused on continuous growth. Later on in the training, we'll explore specific visualization tools and strategies that can deepen this motivational approach, demonstrating how supervisors can effectively use visual feedback methods to amplify engagement and commitment in RBT supervision. Collaboration is central to effective goal setting, transforming it from a top down directive into a shared dynamic process where both the supervisor and the RBT actively participate. When RBTs are included in setting their own goals, it creates a sense of ownership and investment in their growth path, making these goals personally meaningful rather than simply assigned tasks. This collaborative approach also reinforces the feedback loop established during the assessment phase, allowing goals to be co created in a way that reflects a mutual understanding of the RBT's strengths, areas for growth, and individual aspirations. For RBTs, having a voice in the goal setting process means that they are not only more likely to achieve the goals, but also to approach them with a genuine sense of purpose, especially as they see their progress through regular feedback loops. The feedback loop here ensures that each goal remains connected to real time progress, enabling ongoing adjustments based on feedback that both keeps RBTs and supervisors focused on continuous improvement. Collaborative goal setting also provides a structure to set goals that are realistically challenging yet achievable, ensuring that goals remain aligned with the RBT's evolving skills and capabilities. By integrating assessment data, supervisors can better align goals with the RBT's current abilities and potential, setting goals that are motivating and relevant. For example, if an assessment identifies a need for improvement in client communication, the RBT may feel more invested if they help identify specific targets, such as demonstrate three active listening techniques during each session. Let's take time to reflect. I want you to reflect on your collaborative aspects of goal setting processes with RBTs. How effectively do you currently involve RBTs in setting their own goals? Do they have a voice in identifying or prioritizing their objectives? What specific strategies could you adopt to strengthen collaboration, ensuring that each goal is shaped by mutual input? In what ways could enhancing the collaborative goal setting process positively impact your supervisory relationship and the RBT's commitment to growth? How can you ensure that cultural competency is integrated into the goal setting process, making it more inclusive and relevant for all RBTs? Consider how increased collaboration could improve RBT engagement and investment in their development path, making goals feel both personally relevant and aligned with their professional growth. Research by Deci and Ryan in 2000 on self determination theory highlights that when individuals experience autonomy and participate in goal setting, they pursue goals with greater intrinsic motivation and commitment. Involving RBTs in this process allows supervisors to leverage their insights and motivation, making goals personally relevant and achievable. This collaborative approach fosters engagement, trust, and an open dialogue that encourages consistent feedback and strengthens the supervisor RBT relationship. A feedback rich environment enables supervisors and RBTs to reflect, adjust, and reinforce goals based on progress. For example, if an RBT exceeds an initial goal of 85% accuracy in data collection, the goal can evolve to focus on advanced skills like data interpretation. This iterative feedback and goal adjustment cycle creates a growth centered supervision structure that ensures objectives remain relevant and motivating. Collaborative assessment ties data driven goals to real world progress, focusing on high priority objectives to prevent overwhelm and sustain meaningful growth. By involving RBTs in setting and assessing goals, supervisors create a transparent and supportive environment that adapts to evolving skills and needs. This partnership driven process empowers both supervisor and RBT to achieve shared developmental objectives while building a motivated, effective workforce. Recognizing and celebrating incremental achievements along the way reinforces motivation and strengthens the collaborative spirit of goal setting, ensuring continuous improvement and quality client care. When goals are set collaboratively, celebrating small wins becomes a core part of the goal setting and achievement process, providing regular opportunities to recognize progress and reinforce motivation. These small wins, whether an incremental increase in skill application, a new communication technique mastered, or even a successful client interaction, they play a vital role in building RBT's confidence and sustaining their momentum towards larger goals. By breaking down objectives into manageable steps, supervisors create frequent, achievable milestones, helping RBTs feel a continuous sense of accomplishment and making the journey to broader goals more accessible and motivating. Recognizing small steps forward reinforces RBT's intrinsic motivation and demonstrates that every action towards a goal is meaningful. This approach taps into the motivational power of positive reinforcement, which encourages a mindset of growth. Positive reinforcement is well supported in research as an effective method by reinforcing desired behaviors. By celebrating incremental wins, supervisors send the message that improvement is a journey, not a single leap to the finish line. Each milestone acknowledged through positive reinforcement builds RBT's engagement and solidifies their commitment, even in the face of challenges. As part of the celebration process, incorporate moments of reflection where RBTs consider what they've achieved, why it was effective, and how it connects to their overall development. For instance, after achieving a small goal, supervisors might ask, "What felt different in your approach this time?" Or, "How did this new technique change your client's response?" This reflective practice allows RBTs to internalize their growth and apply insights to future tasks. Bandura in 1997 noted that reflection on successful experiences increases self efficacy, which in turn motivates individuals to pursue increasingly challenging goals. To sustain motivation beyond the initial stages, it's essential to incorporate regular milestone reviews. For instance, supervisors can schedule quarterly reflections where RBTs review their accomplishments over the past few months, discussing both successful and areas of improvement. This practice not only highlights progress but also fosters a sense of continuity in the RBT's development journey. By celebrating these milestones in a structured way, RBTs can maintain their momentum and feel a sustained sense of achievement through their professional growth. While effective goal setting can drive meaningful progress, several common pitfalls can hinder an RBT's development journey if not managed carefully. Challenges like setting overly ambitious goals, juggling too many objectives at once, or failing to revisit and refine goals regularly can create obstacles, leaving RBTs feeling overwhelmed and discouraged. This impact on motivation and progress can, in turn, reduce the effectiveness of supervision. Recognizing these potential obstacles upfront allows supervisors to create a supportive, realistic framework for goal setting that encourages sustained growth without overwhelming the RBT. A focus on setting achievable, targetable goals builds a foundation of confidence and resilience, and regular check ins help ensure goals remain relevant and aligned with the RBT's evolving skills and responsibilities. Moving forward, let's look at some strategies for avoiding common pitfalls, such as prioritizing high impact goals based on assessment data, breaking down larger objectives into focused, manageable steps, and using the feedback loop to adapt goals in real time. These structured strategies allow supervisors to address and overcome potential challenges, ensuring that goal setting is not only effective, but also flexible and responsive. By providing adaptable data driven guidance, supervisors can help RBTs confidently progress along a clear developmental path, staying engaged and motivated to reach their full potential. Once SMART goals have been set based on assessment data, maintaining alignment with the RBT's ongoing growth path is essential. Goal alignment isn't a one time step, but a dynamic process that ensures each developmental goal stays relevant and impactful over time, benefiting both the RBT and their client outcomes. Each goal should link back to specific findings from the assessment. This data driven approach clarifies for RBTs how their goals stem from objective performance metrics, helping them see the purpose and relevance of each goal in their professional development. Ensuring that goals remain grounded in assessment data reinforces their importance, making growth measurable and concrete. Prioritizing goals ensures that supervision remains focused and impactful. By categorizing objectives into high, medium, and low priorities using assessment data, we can address high impact areas first. This approach prevents overwhelm, allowing RBTs and supervisors to concentrate on a few manageable goals and build momentum as progress is made. Research by Hattie and Timberley in 2007 highlights that feedback is most effective when connected to measurable targets, while Bandura in 1997 emphasizes that aligning goals with current skill levels fosters confidence and success. By leveraging data to guide prioritization, we create intentional, actionable plans that support measurable growth and engagement throughout the supervision process. Prioritizing goals bridges the gap between assessment findings and actionable plans. Each high need area identified through assessment is directly linked to specific objectives. This clarity keeps both RBTs and supervisors aligned, fostering transparency and accountability. By revisiting progress over time, supervisors reinforce the feedback loop, enabling RBTs to see measurable improvements. This iterative process builds confidence and motivation, aligning with Bandora's 1997 emphasis on the role of clear, confidence aligned goals in fostering success. In summary, prioritization creates a clear roadmap for growth by turning high impact needs into actionable goals. By addressing the most critical areas first, supervisors streamline development, maintain RBT motivation, and drive continuous improvement, ultimately enhancing client outcomes. Our second code word is collaboration. 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 Breaking goals into smaller steps is essential for making them actionable and achievable. Start by linking each step directly to assessment findings to ensure relevance. For example, if the goal were to be improve feedback application, break it into observing examples, practicing through role play, and applying strategies in live sessions. As progress unfolds, adapt these steps to address emerging challenges or capitalize on strengths. Dynamic adjustments keep RBTs engaged, focused, and motivated, aligning their development with real world demands and client outcomes. Establishing a roadmap with structured timelines, checkpoints, and aligned goals is critical in guiding RBTs effectively towards their objectives. Research supports the importance of clear timelines and regular progress reviews in enhancing motivation and follow through. For example, Hattie and Timperley in 2007 found that frequent specific feedback reinforces incremental progress, keeping individuals engaged with their goals and promoting ongoing growth. A well defined roadmap helps supervisors and RBTs break down larger objectives into manageable steps, ensuring that each milestone has a purpose and that progress is consistently tracked. Structured timelines for each step create urgency, helping RBTs stay focused and committed. Checkpoints within the roadmap provide dedicated opportunities to review progress, address emerging challenges, and celebrate small successes, which further strengthens the feedback loop. Goal alignment is an essential component of an effective roadmap. This supports the idea of prioritization and focusing on the highest priority goals first. Each goal aligns with specific performance areas identified through assessment, preventing RBTs from feeling overwhelmed and helping them concentrate on immediate high need skills. Including alignment checkpoints in the roadmap enables supervisors to regularly assess whether goals remain relevant and connected to the RBT's current development stage. Research by Locke and Latham in 1990 shows that goal alignment with individual performance needs sustains motivation by keeping each goal achievable and tailored to the RBT's evolving skill set. Bandora in 1997 highlights that self efficacy is strengthened when individuals experience success through smaller, achievable milestones. By integrating checkpoints, supervisors provide RBTs with regular, structured moments to experience and recognize their progress. This increased self efficacy motivates RBTs to take on more challenging goals with confidence, reinforcing their commitment to professional development. Goldwitzer and Sharon's 2006 research on implementation intention shows that when clear intentions are linked with goal oriented actions, follow through significantly improves. Structured action steps in a roadmap make it easier for RBTs to translate goals into practice. Each checkpoint then becomes a moment to review specific actions, keeping both the supervisor and RBT on track towards achieving broader developmental objectives. Shuck in 1991 further supports that structured goals and frequent feedback foster motivation and persistence as RBTs see their efforts contribute to concrete progress. Supervisors are encouraged to work collaboratively with RBTs at creating a roadmap that accommodates the RBT's pace and demands of their role. Collaborative goal setting supports motivation and accountability, as emphasized in Desi and Ryan 2000, who found that individuals are more engaged when they experience autonomy and have a voice in their goal setting process. Including RBTs in setting the pace and structure of their roadmap creates a sense of ownership and investment, making them more likely to persist in achieving each milestone. While a structured approach is beneficial, flexibility is also essential to adapting goals as new data and feedback becomes available. Locke and Latham in 1990 emphasized that flexibility within goal pursuit, guided by consistent feedback, enhances persistence and reduces frustration if initial targets prove too challenging. Checkpoints allow supervisors to revisit goals, adjust timelines, and realign action steps based on the RBT's ongoing progress. This dynamic approach ensures that goals remain both motivating and relevant. Topping in 1998 underscores the benefits of peer assessment, suggesting that incorporating peer feedback within the roadmap can boost accountability and foster a collaborative environment. If applicable, RBTs can engage in paired goal setting or peer observation activities that allow them to see different approaches, ask questions, and provide mutual support. Collaborative checkpoints can strengthen commitment to goals as peer feedback reinforces accountability and provides RBTs with alternative perspectives. A well designed feedback loop is essential to making the action plan a living, adaptive document that evolves alongside the RBT's development. By incorporating feedback from prior supervision sessions, supervisors can ensure that action plans are continuously shaped by real time insights, making the progress both responsive and relevant to the RBT's progress. This approach aligns with Hattie and Timperley's 2007 findings that feedback is most effective when it leads to specific actionable steps, allowing individuals to adjust their strategies based on actual performance. Using feedback from recent supervision sessions allows for real time adjustments to goals and action steps, ensuring they remain relevant and attainable. Locke and Latham emphasize that goals should be flexible and responsive, especially as new information about the individual's performance becomes available. When RBTs receive feedback that shows improvement or highlights new challenges, supervisors can adapt the action plan to reflect these changes. For example, if the RBT has shown significant growth in a targeted skill area, the supervisor can update the action plan to focus on a new or more advanced skill, maintaining a progressive and engaging development path. The incorporation of feedback from previous sessions provides continuity and accountability in the supervisory relationship. Topping in 1998 found that continuous feedback fosters a supportive environment where individuals feel accountable to the feedback process, making them more likely to remain engaged and motivated. By regularly revisiting feedback and using it to guide action plan updates, supervisors create a structured process that builds accountability and encourages the RBT to take ownership of their growth journey. The feedback loop is vital for fostering sustained growth and ensuring supervision remains dynamic. Regular check ins allow supervisors to revisit goals, assess progress, and adjust objectives based on real time performance data. Hattie and Timperley in 2007 emphasized that feedback is most impactful when it leads to actionable steps and is revisited consistently. Tracking progress ensures alignment between goals and RBT developmental trajectory. Structured review points validate that goals remain relevant and achievable, reinforcing the feedback loop and maintaining motivation. Celebrating milestones, whether small or significant, bolsters confidence and self efficacy, as Bandura 1997 highlights. By fostering a cycle of reflection, feedback, and continuous improvement, supervisors create an environment that keep RBTs engaged and committed to meaningful, sustained growth. A systematic approach to data collection and documentation enhances accountability and transparency throughout supervision. Templates that link each goal back to initial assessment scores and prioritization data allow both RBTs and supervisors to track measurable progress over time. This documentation serves as a visual feedback tool, showing RBTs how their performance aligns with key assessment priorities and where further focus is needed. This data driven approach not only keeps goals relevant, but also sustains alignment between goals and the RBT's unique developmental journey. Additionally, integrating cultural competency considerations into data collection can ensure that the goals reflect diverse contexts and backgrounds, fostering inclusivity in the supervisory process. Here's time to reflect. Think about how you approach tracking and reviewing goal progress. How frequently do you review each RBT's progress? Are your check-ins structured to balance feedback, reflection, and goal alignment? What tools or methods do you currently use to document progress and communicate it back to the RBT? Reflect on a recent supervision session. Were there any missed opportunities for celebrating progress or adjusting goals based on performance data? Taking a moment to reflect on these questions can strengthen your ability to provide dynamic data informed support that reinforces both goal alignment and RBT's growth. Even with structured goal setting and feedback processes, barriers and challenges can disrupt the supervision experience. These obstacles, if unaddressed, can impact RBT development and progress. In this section, we'll explore evidence based strategies to tackle these challenges, ensuring that supervision remains effective and impactful. By reinforcing the feedback loop, we can keep RBTs motivated, focused, and aligned with their developmental objectives. Let's take a look at some of these obstacles and how to overcome them. Vague or broad goals can lead to confusion and make progress difficult to measure. Research underscores the importance of specific measurable goals in enhancing achievement. However, in practice, assessment data may highlight broad areas like professionalism, which without refinement can feel unclear to RBTs. To overcome this challenge, consider these strategies. Translate goals into specific, observable actions. For example, instead of improve professionalism, set a clear target like arrives on time for each session and maintains organized client records. These specific behaviors provide clear expectations and an achievable focus. Refer to data from the assessment tool to identify precise behaviors and skills that need development. For example, if the data highlights issues with time management, create goals such as complete session notes within 10 minutes post session. As we've previously discussed, involving RBTs and refining broad goals improves understanding and buy in as they gain clarity on how each goal relates to their daily work and personal growth. Supervision time is often limited, and supervisors may feel that they can't cover all identified goals thoroughly. Kazemi et al. In 2015 highlight that effective prioritization of goals is critical in time-constrained settings, allowing supervisors to concentrate on high-yield objectives that drive skill building efficiently. Consider these strategies to optimize limited supervision time. Utilize a previously discussed strategy of prioritization. Focus on goals with the greatest relevance to the RBT's current role in assessment results. High priority goals are more likely to produce measurable progress within limited time. For goals requiring extended attention, consider short, focused check ins that allow RBTs to address progress, ask questions, and receive immediate guidance without a full session. Utilizing data tracking tools enables supervisors to quickly assess goal progress, saving time and providing a clear picture of where RBTs are excelling and where more support is needed. When RBTs feel connected to their goals, they're more likely to engage in the supervision process. Self-determination theory, as presented by Deci and Ryan in 2000, suggests that individuals are more motivated when they feel their goals are personally relevant. Without a sense of connection to their goals, RBTs may approach development with less enthusiasm. When you feel like your RBT is lacking buy-in, consider these strategies. Remember to empower your RBTs by involving them in setting specific goals, helping them see how each objective connects to their personal and professional aspirations. Reviewing assessment data together can demonstrate the relevance of each goal, making it clear that their input shapes their developmental path. Link goals to broader career objectives where possible. If an RBT aims to enhance client interactions as a potential future team lead, for instance, setting communication related goals can increase motivation and engagement. Highlight the connection between goal progress and client benefits, underscoring the tangible impact of achieving each goal on client success. Attempting to tackle numerous goals simultaneously can dilute focus, leaving RBTs feeling overwhelmed or unclear on priorities. Locke and Latham in 1990 found that while multiple goals can support comprehensive growth, effective supervision emphasizes selectivity and focus. Here are some strategies to consider to find more balance. Goal prioritization. Let this skill help you and your RBTs to focus on immediate goals first and revisit others as progress is made. Concentrate on no more than 3 active goals at a time to ensure that each receives adequate attention and resources. Lower priority goals can be revisited once progress is made on the initial objectives. Embed skill building goals into the RBT's daily responsibilities, making goal work feel natural and less burdensome. For instance, practicing communication techniques during regular sessions with clients becomes a part of daily work rather than an additional task. Some RBTs may hesitate to embrace feedback due to the fear of criticism or a lack of understanding, which can stall progress. Hattie and Timberly suggest that feedback is most impactful when specific and actionable, yet resistance to feedback can prevent individuals from engaging fully. So, consider these strategies to manage resistance to feedback. Approach feedback as an opportunity for growth, using language that emphasizes learning rather than criticism. Instead of saying, your organization skills need improvement, frame it as, developing a pre session checklist could help streamline your preparation. Let's go back to self reflection. Encourage RBTs to assess their performance before providing feedback. Self reflection allows RBTs to recognize areas for improvement independently, helping them to see feedback as a supportive rather than corrective tool. Highlight specific areas where the RBT has already improved, creating a positive association with feedback and building confidence in their ability to address new challenges. Developing self reflection skills is crucial for sustained growth, yet, not all RBTs may have the experience or self awareness to engage fully in the process. Zimmerman and Shunk in 2001 found that regular reflection on performance enhances self regulation, an essential tool for long term development. Let's consider these strategies to build reflection skills. Use structured questions that prompt RBTs to think critically about their performance, such as, what went well in this session? Or, what's one area for improvement? Ask RBTs to keep a journal where they can record their reflections and progress. This practice helps them visualize their development over time and fosters a habit of self assessment. Topping 1998 emphasized that peer feedback can improve self awareness. Observing and learning from peers allows RBTs to gain new perspectives on their performance, offering valuable insights for improvement. Timelines that are too short or too vague can either add unnecessary pressure or lead to stagnation. Research by Locke and Latham in 2002 underscores the importance of time bound goals, as realistic deadlines create a sense of urgency without overwhelming the RBT. Consider these strategies when you feel like timelines aren't realistic. Combining intermediate short term goals with broader long term objectives allows RBTs to make incremental progress toward larger milestones. Short term goals provide frequent achievements, building confidence along the way. When possible, use assessment data to inform realistic timelines. Goals requiring fundamental skills may need larger timelines, while smaller manageable adjustments may be achieved quickly. Where appropriate, adjust timelines based on RBT progress and emerging data. Flexible deadlines prevent RBTs from feeling discouraged by tight schedules and create a supportive, adaptive supervision environment. Effective supervision requires more than setting initial goals. It demands a dynamic approach to address barriers and adapt to RBT progress. Time constraints, communication challenges, or limited resources can hinder development, but by identifying and addressing these challenges, supervisors can create an environment that motivates and empowers RBTs. Using real time performance data, supervisors can refine and evaluate goals, ensuring that they remain relevant and achievable. For instance, if an RBT makes measurable progress in client interaction skills, the supervisor might set advanced goals or reinforce gains. Conversely, limited progress might indicate a need to break goals into smaller, more manageable steps. This data driven approach not only aligns with Locke and Latham's 2002 research on motivation and goal setting, but also ensures supervision adapts to the RBT's learning pace. By embedding cultural competency into goal evaluations, supervisors further enhance relevance and inclusivity, ensuring that both RBTs and clients benefit from growth-oriented supportive supervision process. Flexibility in goal setting is essential to align objectives with the RBT's evolving needs. Goals should be adaptive, with real time adjustments based on data feedback and performance. This ensures that they remain challenging yet achievable, fostering motivation and confidence. Dynamic adjustments involve monitoring progress, assessing obstacles, and recalibrating goals as needed. For example, rapid improvement might call for advanced goals, while stalled progress may require breaking goals into smaller steps or adjusting timelines. This iterative process strengthens the feedback loop and supports continuous growth. Research highlights the importance of this approach. Bandura in 1997 emphasizes that responsive goals boost self efficacy, while Kazemi et al. In 2015 show that real time adjustments sustain engagement. Involving RBTs in these decisions fosters collaboration, autonomy, and commitment, as supported by Deci and Ryan's 2000 self determination theory. In summary, dynamic, data informed goal setting creates a supportive, motivating supervision environment that adapts to RBT development and client needs, driving sustained improvement and positive outcomes. Let's take a look at an example. Imagine a supervisor working with an RBT named Alex, who has been focusing on improving data collection accuracy, a skill identified during their initial assessment as a high priority growth area. The first goal set for Alex was to achieve an 85% accuracy rate in data recording, which was specific, measurable, and aligned with client needs. To support this, the supervisor provided weekly check ins to track progress and address any challenges Alex faced with data collection. After a month, the supervisor reviews Alex's data collection sheets and observes steady progress. Alex initially started at 70% accuracy and has gradually improved to around 80% over the last 2 weeks. This upward trend indicates that the original goals was both appropriate and attainable with continued support. To maintain momentum, the supervisor decides to adjust the goal to keep Alex challenged but not overwhelmed. They set a new intermediate goal of 90% accuracy in data collection over the next 6 weeks, recognizing that Alex has developed confidence and consistency. To aid this transition, the supervisor incorporates a real time feedback element where Alex will receive brief feedback on accuracy immediately after each session, reinforcing correct practices and allowing quick correction of errors. As Alex continues to work towards this updated goal, both the supervisor and Alex actively engage in the feedback loop that aligns goal setting with Alex's real time development. If, for instance, Alex encounters a particularly challenging client scenario that impacts data collection, the supervisor is ready to pause and address the specific challenge, potentially adjusting the timeline or breaking the goal into smaller steps for that week. Through this adaptive approach, Alex feels supported, motivated, and capable of progressing without feeling overextended. By using progress data to guide goal adjustments, the supervisor creates a roadmap that reflects Alex's current strengths and needs. This approach not only keeps Alex on track towards skill mastery, but also builds confidence and resilience, as Alex sees tangible improvements and understands that the goals set are realistic, evolving, and achievable. This example demonstrates how data driven goal setting, evaluation, and adaptation foster an environment where RBTs can thrive, feel supported, and experience incremental successes. Through continuous adjustments based on real world performance, supervisors ensure that goals remain relevant, actionable, and aligned with the RBT's journey toward professional growth and effective client outcomes. Goal setting is the cornerstone of an RBT's development, transforming collaborative assessment insights into clear, actionable steps. By setting specific, measurable, and data informed goals, supervisors create a dynamic framework that adapts to the RBT's progress, ensuring that goals remain relevant and achievable. This process not only clarifies strengths and areas for improvement, but also fosters a feedback loop that continuously aligns goals with real time performance, driving engagement, motivation, and measurable growth. As RBTs progress, goal setting evolves to meet their changing needs, strengthening the supervisory relationship through transparency, adaptability, and shared commitment. This structured yet flexible approach lays the foundation for our next phase, applying feedback and structured supervision. In this phase, goal setting moves from planning to action, as feedback becomes the tool for reinforcing and refining skills in real world contexts. Structured feedback ensures that goals are actively supported through consistent guidance and real time adjustments. By encouraging RBTs to practice, refine, and build on targeted skills, supervisors sustain momentum and embed growth as an ongoing process. This transition helps RBTs see goals as dynamic, evolving with their development while maintaining alignment with client needs and professional growth. By integrating goal setting with actionable feedback strategies, structured supervision ensures sustained improvement, building both confidence and practical competence. This phase underscores that growth is not a one time milestone, but a continuous journey of development and impact. Feedback is the bridge between assessment and growth, providing RBTs with the insights needed to refine skills, enhance practice, and improve client outcomes. Beyond technical development, effective feedback also boosts professional confidence and engagement. As a cornerstone of supervision, feedback fosters continuous improvement by aligning performance with goals and expectations. Hattie and Timperley in 2007 emphasized its transformative impact on learning and achievement, particularly when it is specific, timely, and constructive. By creating opportunities for reflection and growth, feedback ensures RBTs remain motivated and aligned on their developmental path. A structured feedback approach is essential for ensuring that feedback is not only effective, but also consistent and comprehensive. This methodology incorporates several elements. Regularly scheduled feedback creates a predictable rhythm, ensuring discussions are timely, relevant, and focused on recent performance. Weekly or bi weekly sessions give RBTs time to act on feedback while reinforcing the value of consistent supervision. Using a structured framework, such as templates or performance criteria, helps maintain clarity and focus on key areas like skill application, client interactions, and goal alignment. Real time feedback, when feasible, reinforces learning by allowing RBTs to immediately apply insights, particularly for skills like communication or session pacing that require quick adjustments. A structured feedback approach transforms supervision into an active, engaging process that promotes continuous growth. It also enables supervisors to systematically track progress, identify consistent strengths, and address areas needing improvement over time. Take time to reflect. After reviewing the importance of structured and actionable feedback, consider your current feedback practices. What changes could you implement to ensure your feedback is more specific and actionable? How will this contribute to your RBT's overall development? Understanding the significance of feedback is only the first step. How feedback is delivered determines its impact. Effective feedback goes beyond sharing insights. It involves clear, supportive communication that fosters understanding and drives growth. In the next section, we'll explore structured approaches to feedback delivery, focusing on methods that create a constructive, motivating environment for RBTs. By establishing consistent practices and purposeful sessions, supervisors can transform feedback from a routine task into a powerful tool for ongoing development and meaningful change. Reinforcement strategies, well understood by BCBAs, can be a powerful tool in supervision to build confidence, highlight effective practices, and maintain engagement. When used strategically, positive reinforcement acknowledges strengths while directing RBTs to replicate and refine desired behaviors. For example, providing targeted feedback like, your use of clear, concise redirection was highly effective in maintaining client engagement, ensures reinforcement is behavior specific and impactful. Constructive feedback is a cornerstone of effective supervision, focusing on specific, actionable, and growth oriented guidance. By centering feedback on observable behaviors rather than personal attributes, supervisors foster a supportive environment that motivates RBTs to make meaningful change. For example, rather than stating, you need to improve session structure, offer actionable suggestions like, let's divide sessions into three distinct phases: introduction, primary task, and wrap up. A balanced feedback approach acknowledges strengths while addressing growth areas, creating a supportive environment for skill refinement. Reinforcing positive behaviors alongside actionable next steps fosters self efficacy and professional growth. Desi and Ryan in 2000 emphasized that tying reinforcement to performance metrics enhances motivation and satisfaction, while setting measurable goals ensures feedback drives progress and confidence. Establishing a consistent agenda for feedback sessions provides focus and ensures that all critical areas are covered. A sample agenda might include reviewing previous goals and feedback from past sessions, highlighting current successes and addressing challenges, and setting new objectives and actionable steps for improvement. A clear agenda helps RBTs prepare for each session, bringing relevant questions or examples and allowing supervisors to maximize the time dedicated to each feedback session. By reinforcing the structured agenda, supervisors can guide RBTs through a predictable, purposeful process where each session builds on the previous one and promotes ongoing growth. The frequency of these sessions, tailored to the RBT's experience levels and goals, reinforces a focused approach to their growth journey, making the feedback process feel intentional and continuous. As supervisors, we know the importance of creating a safe space where RBTs feel comfortable asking questions, acknowledging struggles, and sharing experiences openly. Psychological safety, as emphasized in Edmondson 1999, promotes learning and risk taking, key to professional growth. By actively listening, seeking RBT input, and addressing challenges with empathy, supervisors foster trust and collaboration. This approach not only strengthens the supervisory relationship, but also ensures feedback is constructive, actionable, and effectively applied. Let's take time to reflect. Consider how you create a supportive environment during feedback sessions. Are there specific behaviors or language choices you use to encourage trust and openness? Reflect on how these strategies might impact the RBT's willingness to engage and apply feedback. Building trust in the feedback environment is essential, as RBTs who feel supported are more likely to share challenges openly, fostering transparent and constructive feedback sessions. As supervisors, our feedback is most effective when it's structured, actionable, and tied to specific goals. First, structured feedback creates consistency. Regular, predictable sessions with clear agendas provide a supportive environment where RBTs know what to expect and can focus on improving specific skills. Second, actionable feedback ensures that RBTs have clear, manageable next steps. Co creating these steps with the RBT not only increases engagement, but also tailors the plan to their unique needs. For example, instead of saying, work on session structure, you might suggest in your next session, try dividing it into warm up, primary tasks, and wrap up phases. This clarity eliminates ambiguity and makes progress achievable. Lastly, goal driven feedback links every piece of guidance back to assessment data and established objectives. Referring to prior goals reminds RBTs how feedback connects to their development path. For example, if an RBT is working on session pacing, highlight progress while setting new targets. You've made great strides, maintaining a steady pace. Let's focus on reducing transition times to maximize task engagement. By combining these elements, structured sessions, actionable steps, and goal alignment, we create a dynamic feedback loop. This approach fosters accountability, builds confidence, and empowers RBTs to see feedback as a tool for sustained growth and skill mastery. Building on the importance of structured and goal driven feedback, the next step is ensuring that every piece of input is highly specific and directly aligned with the supervisee's developmental objectives. By tailoring feedback to address immediate needs while supporting long term growth, supervisors can enhance its effectiveness. As we delve deeper, we also explore strategies to refine feedback further, ensuring it remains actionable, meaningful, and a catalyst for sustained professional progress. Effective feedback starts with data. By using measurable insights from assessments and ongoing observations, supervisors ensure feedback is objective and actionable. Connecting this feedback to observable outcomes not only enhances accountability, but also motivates RBTs by showing how their efforts lead to meaningful results. Data collection serves as the foundation of a structured feedback loop. It provides concrete insights into the RBT's progress and highlights areas for focus, allowing adjustments based on measurable outcomes instead of subjective opinions. To manage this data effectively, supervisors can use templates, digital tools, or software to track behavior, scores, and milestones. For instance, progress graphs can visually display improvements in data accuracy or session pacing, reinforcing a sense of accomplishment and growth. This approach transforms feedback into a tool for sustained development. Feedback is not a one time event. It's a continuous iterative process that links assessment, goal setting, and supervision. Dynamic feedback cycles keep supervision responsive and engaging, ensuring feedback evolves with the RBT's development. To maintain motivation, highlight both short term achievements and long term progress. For example, celebrating incremental improvements like mastering session pacing builds confidence while maintaining momentum. Integrating client outcomes into the feedback cycle can make progress tangible for RBTs. Show them how their growth, such as improved data collection accuracy, benefits client outcomes. This connection reinforces the real world impact of their efforts. Data driven feedback ensures it remains objective and actionable. Use measurable insights from assessments and ongoing observations to refine strategies and goals. By setting clear milestones within the feedback cycle, supervisors can track progress and help RBTs visualize their journey towards mastery. Effective communication is at the heart of impactful feedback. Supervisors must tailor their approach to align with the RBT's learning style, values, and cultural background. Adapting feedback, whether delivered directly or indirectly, in private or in group settings, ensures it remains accessible and impactful. Incorporating culturally relevant examples helps RBTs see how feedback applies to real world situations, enhancing their motivation to make meaningful changes. For example, drawing on shared experiences or cultural familiarity scenarios can make feedback more relatable. Open dialogue is essential in fostering trust. Inviting RBTs to share their cultural perspectives and learning preferences ensures feedback feels relevant and empowering. This collaboration creates an inclusive environment that not only supports individual growth, but also strengthens the supervisory relationship. By embedding cultural competency into the feedback process, supervisors build a foundation of respect and engagement, making feedback an integral part of the RBT's professional development. Feedback should empower RBTs, building their confidence and motivation. Pairing constructive feedback with affirmations of past achievements helps them recognize their strengths and believe in their ability to improve. Framing feedback as a journey towards mastery encourages RBTs to embrace challenges, transforming feedback into a tool for continuous growth. Self assessment empowers RBTs to take ownership of their growth by connecting feedback to actionable steps. Structured tools like templates, journals, and tracking charts make this process tangible using prompts such as, "What went well today?" or "What can I improve next session?" Incorporating reflective prompts during feedback sessions deepens engagement and helps RBTs link their experiences to actionable improvements. Questions like, "How did this strategy work for you?" foster critical thinking and accountability. By promoting a growth mindset, supervisors make reflection a continuous driver of progress. This approach enhances engagement, autonomy, and a deeper understanding of strengths and areas for development. Effective self assessment requires a supportive, non judgmental environment. Supervisors can normalize growth areas and emphasize development as a continuous journey. Opening feedback sessions with statements like, "This is a space to celebrate progress and set realistic next steps," fosters psychological safety. Encouraging a growth mindset with each affirmation, such as, "Each reflection is a chance to grow," empowers RBTs to view self assessment as a motivating and constructive practice. Regularly revisiting self assessment keeps it engaging and reinforces its importance. Integrating self reflection into feedback sessions ensures RBTs view it as an essential to their role rather than an extra task. Connecting self assessment to long term career goals highlights its relevance. For example, supervisors can emphasize, These reflection skills will support your professional growth as you advance in your career. Effective self assessment includes not only reflection, but also action. Supervisors can help RBTs create brief, actionable plans following their reflections. For example, after reflecting on an area of improvement, RBTs might set an intention, such as, in my next session, I'll practice using shorter prompts to improve session pacing. Supervisors can then revisit these goals, reinforcing that self assessment is a driver of meaningful change. Supervisors can strengthen self assessment by incorporating feedback from peers and supervisors. Peer feedback provides alternative perspectives on strengths and growth areas, while supervisors can review and expand on self assessments during sessions to affirm and refine reflections. Combining self assessment with external feedback creates a comprehensive process that balances internal insights with observed behaviors. This approach fosters self awareness, accountability, and ownership, while supporting continuous self driven improvement. Research by Sadler in 1989 underscores the value of multidimensional feedback in giving learners a clearer understanding of their strengths and areas for growth. Establishing a structured feedback loop further reinforces this process, ensuring communication remains open and growth focused. Self awareness is essential for professional growth. Supervisors can help RBTs identify strengths and areas for improvement by framing feedback within skill categories like communication, data collection, or behavior management. Encouraging reflection on specific tasks or client interactions can uncover strengths RBTs may not recognize in themselves. Celebrating small wins, such as improved data accuracy, reinforce their progress. Okay, try this again. Self awareness is essential for professional growth. Supervisors can help RBTs identify strengths and areas for improvement by framing feedback again, really. Self awareness is essential for professional growth. Supervisors can help RBTs identify strengths and areas for improvement by framing feedback within skill categories like communication, data collection, or behavior management. Encouraging reflection on specific tasks or client interactions can uncover strengths RBTs may not recognize in themselves. Celebrating small wins, such as improved data accuracy, reinforces progress and fosters motivation. Highlighting underlying skills like patience and clarity in instructions helps RBTs see their strengths as multidimensional and transferable. To balance strengths and growth areas, frame feedback constructively by presenting challenges as opportunities. Using positive language like developing skills instead of weaknesses encourages resilience. Connecting achievements to past milestones boosts self efficacy. For example, supervisors could say, your data collection accuracy has improved by 15% since last month. This reflects your dedication and progress. This statement reinforces growth as part of a larger journey. Let's take time to reflect. Consider the impact of integrating self assessment and regular goal alignment on your supervision process. How might you foster a sense of ownership in RBTs regarding their feedback and goals? In what ways can you support RBTs in aligning feedback with self assessment and real time progress? It's also time for our third code word. The next code word is assessment. 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 Continuity and adaptability are crucial for feedback to drive sustained growth. Regularly revisiting and refining feedback ensures that it stays aligned with the RBT's developmental trajectory and responds to new challenges. By connecting feedback to prior sessions, supervisors foster accountability and confidence, showing RBTs that progress is cumulative and valued. Incorporating measurable milestones within the feedback loop provides clear checkpoints for tracking progress and visualizing long-term goals. A dynamic approach, combining self-reflection, goal alignment, and frequent reassessment, makes feedback a transformational tool for skill mastery and professional development. Supervisors should also emphasize the purpose of feedback continuity by celebrating small wins, building on strengths, and adapting priorities as RBTs progress. This approach highlights that feedback is not a one time directive, but an evolving, responsive process tailored to each RBT's unique journey. As RBTs progress, goal setting should remain flexible to reflect their evolving needs and development. Supervisors should regularly assess whether goals are still appropriate or if priorities need adjustment, ensuring goals remain relevant and engaging. This flexibility highlights tangible results and reinforces that reassessment reflects growth and readiness for new challenges rather than a failure of previous objectives. Incorporating data driven insights strengthens this process. Quantitative and qualitative data, such as client outcomes, session observations, and self assessments, provide a reliable foundation for evaluating goal effectiveness. Regular reassessment, informed by data, ensures feedback and goals align with RBT progress and developmental priorities. Supervisors can set a cadence for reviews, such as every few sessions or after significant milestones, to maintain accountability and focus. Skill prioritization should also be revisited frequently to address evolving needs and emphasize high impact areas. This ongoing responsive process integrates feedback into long term goals and ensures that supervision remains dynamic and impactful. Research by Zimmerman and Consantis in 1999 highlights the role of adaptable goals in sustaining motivation and persistence, driving continuous engagement and meaningful growth. A common challenge is keeping RBTs engaged in this ongoing feedback process, especially when progress is slow or obstacles arise. Supervisors can maintain interest by recognizing both small and significant achievements within each feedback cycle. Highlighting even incremental progress as milestones can keep RBTs motivated, fostering a growth mindset that celebrates learning at every stage. It is essential for supervisors to be responsive to how RBTs react to feedback. Supervisors might ask questions such as, "What part of the feedback do you feel was most applicable?" Or, "Are there areas where you'd like further clarification?" Engaging RBTs in these reflections helps them feel that the feedback process is a partnership rather than an evaluation. Supervisors should remain flexible, adjusting their coaching style based on whether an RBT needs more support, clearer examples, or encouragement to take on new challenges. Let's take a moment to reflect. How do you currently adapt your feedback to meet the diverse needs of your RBTs? Are there adjustments in language or approach that could make your feedback more inclusive and culturally responsive? Connecting RBT development to client outcomes reinforces the real world impact of their growth. Discuss how specific improvements, like more accurate data collection, directly benefit clients. Use questions such as, "How did your session structure impact the client's engagement today?" to help RBTs reflect on their contributions while maintaining clear, actionable goals. When progress stalls, it's important to revisit foundational skills to try alternative strategies like video reviews, peer modeling, or breaking goals into smaller steps. Additionally, consider external factors that might be barriers. Asking questions like, "Are there challenges outside our sessions affecting your progress?" This helps create a supportive, holistic approach that addresses obstacles and keeps RBTs motivated and engaged. As we integrate foundational principles like collaborative assessment, structured feedback, self assessment, and cultural competency, we create a feedback rich supervision process that promotes growth, enhances client outcomes, and builds a confident, skilled workforce. Structured feedback serves as the foundation, fostering a culture of continuous learning and empowering RBTs to take ownership of their development. Specific, actionable feedback aligned with RBT goals is critical for sustained growth. However, to ensure this feedback translates into meaningful progress, supervisors must reinforce it through active coaching. This dynamic process moves beyond insights, transforming feedback into skill application and mastery. Coaching builds on structured feedback by providing hands on support. Supervisors act as mentors, modeling effective practices and offering real time opportunities for RBTs to refine their skills. This phase is about fostering resilience, empowering RBTs to confidently implement feedback, and guiding them to navigate challenges and build professional independence. Through practical guidance and continuous encouragement, coaching helps RBTs turn feedback into actionable improvements. As we move into this phase, we'll explore impactful coaching techniques that deepen skill development, drive meaningful progress, and create an empowered, resilient approach to RBT development. Coaching bridges structured feedback and practical application, serving as a cornerstone for both skill mastery and professional development. It goes beyond feedback by fostering critical thinking, independence, and deeper practice. As supervisors, coaching empowers RBTs to take ownership of their growth while balancing guidance with autonomy. By creating a supportive environment for self reflection and real world application, we help RBTs refine their competencies and build confidence over time. Effective coaching requires tailored, culturally responsive practices. By aligning coaching to RBT's learning styles and cultural norms, supervisors create an inclusive environment that fosters trust and engagement. Open dialogue and self reflection play a key role in this process. Use prompts like, "What challenges did you face this week?" to guide discussions and provide tools, such as journals, to help RBTs track their progress and turn insights into actionable steps. Consistency is crucial. Establish regular coaching sessions with clear goals that align with RBT's aspirations. Celebrate progress and hold RBTs accountable to ensure their growth remains on track. Ultimately, coaching is about building relationships through trust, respect, and adaptability. By fostering autonomy and creating opportunities for skill mastery, supervisors can guide RBTs towards meaningful, sustained professional development. Let's reflect for a moment. I want you to reflect on your openness to receiving feedback on your coaching style. How often do you invite RBTs to share your preferences or insights on the coaching process? What might you learn by incorporating their feedback more regularly? In this section, we'll explore how to leverage feedback not only as a corrective tool, but as a springboard for empowerment, fostering a culture of self directed learning and accountability in RBTs. This approach shifts feedback from mere guidance to a motivational force, encouraging RBTs to take ownership of their professional development. In coaching, feedback moves beyond guidance to become a tool for empowerment. Aligning feedback with the RBT's goals makes it more meaningful and motivates them to take ownership of their development. One way to enhance coaching is by fostering a feedback seeking mindset, encouraging RBTs to view feedback as a growth resource rather than an evaluation. For instance, ask them to bring one area they'd like additional guidance on to each session. This approach normalizes feedback as part of their professional journey and builds their confidence over time. Reflective dialogue is another cornerstone of coaching. Invite RBTs to share their thoughts on their progress or areas they'd like to focus on. This not only reinforces autonomy, but also strengthens their critical thinking, making feedback sessions more collaborative and impactful. Effective coaching helps hesitant RBTs transition into a self directed learning mindset by tailoring strategies to their learning styles and personalities. While some RBTs thrive with open ended questions that encourage introspection, others may need structured prompts to explore their progress. For instance, ask, "What specific challenges did you encounter when implementing last week's feedback?" This can provide guidance while encouraging reflection. As a coach, emphasize how self reflection and independent goal setting are crucial career skills that foster autonomy and professional growth. Gradual steps, such as setting small, self identified improvement goals, build confidence and help RBTs take ownership of their development. By adapting coaching to individual needs, supervisors create an environment where RBTs can engage proactively and align immediate skill building with long term success, preparing them for greater independence in their roles. To help RBTs become more proactive in seeking feedback, communicate that feedback is not only an evaluation tool, but a resource they can leverage for learning. Regularly remind RBTs that checking in for feedback signals a commitment to excellence and personal development. Encourage RBTs to bring specific questions or areas of concern to feedback sessions to foster a habit of self driven improvement. Watch for signs that an RBT is fully internalizing feedback. Look for behavioral changes, increased self awareness, and proactive adjustments in their work. An RBT's willingness to discuss improvements without prompting or their application of feedback across multiple contexts are clear indicators that feedback has been internalized. Regularly revisiting and acknowledging these changes reinforces the feedback loop and further motivates the RBT. Effective coaching requires documenting progress to maintain continuity and accountability. Supervisors can record each session's goals, reflections, and adjustments to ensure coaching remains focused and impactful. Summarizing key takeaways after each session, such as insights or new goals, provides a roadmap for tracking the RBT's development over time. Streamlined documentation tools like goal tracking sheets or shared digital documents can help organize session notes efficiently. These resources serve as quick references for both supervisor and RBT, fostering a consistent and collaborative approach to coaching while minimizing administrative tasks. In coaching, setting small, realistic milestones helps RBTs visualize incremental progress and stay motivated. Milestones tied to specific skills, such as effective data collection or client engagement, provide structured markers for development. This approach makes feedback purposeful and manageable while reinforcing alignment with long term goals. Coaching sessions can revisit these milestones to track progress, celebrate achievements, and identify next steps. Feedback is most empowering when it respects and integrates the cultural differences of each RBT. Supervisors should adapt feedback practices to align with the unique communication styles of your RBTs, along with their values and cultural context. Cultural factors can significantly impact how feedback is received and acted upon. For instance, RBTs from high power distance cultures may initially hesitate to engage openly in dialogue or share challenges. In these cases, it's essential to create a collaborative and supportive space for feedback. To foster inclusivity, supervisors can invite RBTs to share their preferences for how they'd like feedback delivered. Some may prefer private discussions, while others might benefit from written summaries. By tailoring feedback delivery, supervisors build trust, encourage engagement, and ensure feedback is received in a way that resonates with your RBT. Feedback is most effective when it empowers RBTs to take ownership of their growth. Supervisors can create a reflective, supportive environment that encourages proactive learning and embraces diverse perspectives. However, empowerment doesn't stop at feedback. It extends into practical skill development. Supervisors should focus on building skills that RBTs can confidently apply in real world scenarios. By incorporating individualized priorities, modeling practice opportunities, and action steps, we provide RBTs with the tools they need to master core competencies. This approach ensures feedback is not just a conversation, but a driver of meaningful, lasting growth that translates directly into their daily tasks, enhancing both confidence and competence. Prioritizing high impact skills ensures that supervision is both effective and manageable. By using assessment and feedback data, supervisors can collaborate with RBTs to identify the skills that will have the greatest impact on their performance and benefit clients the most. When prioritizing, consider both the client's needs and RBT's developmental stage. Ask questions like which skills are foundational for your current caseload, and which skills will improve the RBT's confidence and independence. This approach ensures that priorities are aligned and meaningful. Focusing on high impact skills not only enhances performance but also helps avoid overwhelming the RBT, creating a clear and achievable path for their growth and success. Fostering ownership is a key element of coaching. Encourage RBTs to set personal goals for their development and regularly check in on their progress. Supervisors can reinforce this ownership by helping RBTs create actionable plans for practicing skills independently out of the supervision session. By providing opportunities to apply new techniques on their own, RBTs build confidence, autonomy, and pride in their achievements. This approach ensures that skill mastery extends beyond supervision, creating a strong foundation for sustained growth. To ensure RBTs understand both the how and the why of skill application, supervisors should incorporate modeling and live demonstration techniques into their coaching sessions. Role playing, shadowing, and live demonstrations provide RBTs with concrete examples and allow them to see skills in action, building a mental framework for their own practice. When modeling a skill, supervisors should actively check for RBT understanding by asking follow up questions or inviting the RBT to summarize the key steps. This back and forth dialogue can reveal any areas that might need additional clarification and helps reinforce the learning process. When an RBT seems hesitant or unsure about practicing independently, supervisors can use scaffolding techniques such as breaking down role playing exercises into smaller segments or focusing on one part of the interaction at a time. Additionally, structured practice opportunities should be offered where the RBT can practice in a supportive environment, receiving real time feedback to refine their performance. If an RBT encounters persistent challenges with a particular skill, it's beneficial to revisit the coaching approach and adjust as needed. Supervisors might introduce alternative methods of practice or explore whether other environmental factors may be influencing performance. Research highlights the value of differentiated instruction in skill development, which means tailoring techniques to meet the RBT's learning style or adjusting practice scenarios to build confidence gradually. Coaching often involves guiding RBTs into segmenting complex skills into manageable, incremental steps. Breaking down tasks such as intervention strategies into smaller, actionable parts reduces cognitive load and helps RBTs feel more confident as they build towards mastery. Supervisors should work with RBTs to co create development plans that outline the steps needed to progress in skill application. When guiding RBTs through complex skills, it's helpful to identify initial foundational steps that lead naturally to more advanced techniques. For example, if an RBT is learning a multi step intervention protocol, the first step might be mastering just the initial setup and prompts, while later stages focus on fading and reinforcement. This scaffolded approach, based on Vygotsky's 1978 concept of the zone of proximal development, aligns with adult learning theory and allows RBTs to progressively build competence. In summary, skill development focused on practical application empowers RBTs to translate feedback into meaningful, actionable skills that directly benefit their work. By individualizing coaching strategies, prioritizing high impact skills, and fostering a supportive learning environment, supervisors help RBTs achieve greater competence and confidence. Supervisors can further ensure this growth by monitoring progress and reinforcing adaptability, making skill application a continuous evolving process that is both empowering and aligned with client needs. With a solid foundation in skill development and practice, RBTs are better equipped to perform effectively and confidently. However, to truly maximize their potential and ensure lasting growth, it's essential to facilitate real world application. In the next section, we'll explore strategies for supporting RBTs as they take their newly refined skills from supervised settings to dynamic client interactions, reinforcing their ability to adapt, troubleshoot, and succeed independently in real world scenarios. Practical real world skill application is essential for turning coaching insights into measurable improvements in RBT performance. This section emphasizes techniques for motivating RBTs to incorporate learning skills into their daily responsibilities and addresses strategies for providing real time support that guides growth in authentic contexts. A key goal in skill application is fostering a continuous learning mindset where RBTs feel motivated to integrate coaching feedback into their day to day work. By aligning coaching goals with specific tasks, supervisors can make skill building directly relevant to each RBT's role and client needs. Set context driven goals for specific skills, allowing RBTs to see the immediate impact of their efforts on client outcomes. For example, an RBT working on active listening can be encouraged to apply this skill in initial client sessions to build rapport effectively. To support RBTs who may feel hesitant or unsure about new skill applications, frame each coaching goal as an achievable step rather than a daunting leap. Emphasize that real world application is a process of growth rather than perfection, where each attempt is a chance to learn and improve. Regular check ins to discuss successes and challenges reinforce the idea that skill development is a journey, not a one time task. Highlighting incremental progress reassures RBTs that each small step they take contributes meaningfully to their development path. RBTs should feel encouraged to bring practical challenges they face to coaching sessions, transforming these discussions into collaborative problem solving opportunities. When supervisors and RBTs address real world obstacles together, it fosters a partnership based approach to growth. Supervisors can offer suggestions and jointly explore strategies to overcome challenges, empowering RBTs to see solutions as co created rather than dictated. When providing real time observation and feedback, balance is essential. Immediate guidance can be beneficial, but it's also crucial to ensure that it doesn't disrupt the natural flow of sessions. One effective approach is to plan for short, reflective debriefs immediately following client interactions. During these debriefs, supervisors can offer focused feedback while the experience is fresh, yet allow the RBT to maintain control of the live session. Additionally, ask RBTs if they feel comfortable with in the moment feedback, as preferences may vary based on individual learning styles. Adjusting your supervisory strategies based on these preferences reinforces a respectful and responsive coaching environment. If real time feedback feels disruptive, consider having the RBT reflect on the session independently first. This can be followed by a joint review where both supervisor and RBT share observations, further enhancing the RBT's critical thinking and self assessment skills. Encourage RBTs to bring questions from their self reflection to the discussion, creating an interactive debrief that enhances learning. Effective coaching focuses on high impact skills that directly enhance RBT's client interactions and overall growth. These skills should align with both the RBT's strengths and the client's needs, making skill development meaningful and impactful. Using assessment and feedback data, supervisors can collaborate with RBTs to identify and prioritize skills that benefit both personal growth and client outcomes. When multiple skills require attention, coaching sessions should segment complex abilities into manageable steps, breaking down tasks such as implementing behavioral interventions into foundational actions like identifying antecedents and consequences. This helps RBTs feel capable and prevents overwhelm. This approach makes progress easier to monitor and provides opportunities to celebrate milestones, reinforcing confidence and engagement. Peer observation can be an invaluable part of real world skill application, allowing RBTs to observe colleagues' techniques and approaches. Supervisors can facilitate this by setting up observation opportunities where RBTs watch peers who excel in particular skills. To avoid creating a competitive atmosphere, frame peer observation as a learning experience, emphasizing shared growth and collaborative feedback. Follow up with reflective discussions, inviting RBTs to share what they observed, how it aligns with their goals, and what specific strategies they might incorporate into their own practice. Additionally, encourage RBTs to take on small leadership roles during peer sessions by sharing techniques they've mastered. This peer feedback loop fosters a sense of community while reinforcing the concept that everyone's growth is interconnected, building both individual skills and team cohesion. Integrating self reflection and self monitoring into coaching helps RBTs take ownership of their development. Encourage RBTs to document their experiences, challenges, and successes using tools like journals and self assessment templates. These tools provide a structured way to evaluate performance and track progress over time. Regularly revisiting reflections during supervision sessions allows supervisors to identify patterns in strengths and challenges. Guiding RBTs to recognize these patterns helps them to connect their observations to actionable strategies for improvement. For example, linking repeated challenges with specific skill building goals can enhance their sense of direction and purpose in development. Transitioning RBTs from skill application to self monitoring fosters independence. Structured prompts and tailored tools make reflection a consistent and meaningful practice. Supervisors can support this process by aligning self assessment insights with personalized goals, ensuring skill development is both relevant and impactful. By reinforcing accountability and celebrating progress, self reflection becomes a driver of confidence and growth. This process ensures that RBTs see skill application and self monitoring as natural and empowering components of their professional journey. Building self reflection and self monitoring skills equips RBTs to take ownership of their professional growth. These practices enhance their ability to engage meaningfully with feedback, fostering an empowered and effective workforce. To sustain this progress, supervisors can embed a continuous feedback loop into the coaching process. This loop transforms individual sessions into an ongoing dialogue that aligns with each RBT's evolving needs. By revisiting feedback regularly, connecting it to self assessment insights, and aligning it with developmental goals, supervisors ensure that growth remains dynamic, responsive, and meaningful. In the next step, we'll explore how to establish a continuous feedback loop that reinforces self reflection while motivating and engaging RBTs in their long term development journey. A strong, continuous feedback loop is essential in coaching for sustained growth and skill development. This approach is not just about delivering feedback, it's about creating a dynamic, reciprocal process that adapts to the unique progress and challenges of each RBT. In this section, we explore how to gather and respond to feedback from RBTs, adapt coaching based on their progress, and ensure that the supervisory process remains flexible and effective. Incorporating RBT feedback into the coaching process fosters a responsive and collaborative environment. Start by normalizing feedback as a shared opportunity to refine both your coaching methods and the RBT's development. Framing feedback as a mutual growth tool helps build trust and ensures RBTs feel safe sharing their perspectives. Encourage RBTs to be proactive by self assessing before sessions. For example, you might ask them to prepare insights with questions like, "What's one more thing you'd like more guidance on this week?" Or, "Is there anything in our approach that isn't fully meeting your needs?" This empowers them to take ownership of their growth and to come to sessions prepared. Finally, gather feedback on your coaching style regularly. Questions like, "Is there anything I could adjust to better support you?" not only strengthen the coaching relationship, but also ensure your method remains aligned with the RBT's evolving needs. By incorporating this feedback, coaching becomes a dynamic two-way process that drives meaningful professional growth. Effective coaching is a dynamic process that evolves with the RBT's progress. By consistently tracking development using objective data, such as performance metrics, session notes, and self assessments, you can identify trends and highlight areas for targeted growth. This data provides a clear foundation of adapting your coaching strategies. For example, if an RBT struggles with a complex skill, break it into smaller, manageable steps, or use scaffolding techniques like role play or demonstrations. As their confidence grows, transition to a more collaborative problem solving approach to encourage independence. Finally, focus each session on targeted growth areas. Address specific challenges while celebrating progress to ensure coaching remains both responsive and impactful. By grounding your approach in data, you create a flexible, effective coaching process that aligns with the RBT's unique needs and development. It's crucial to balance the structured elements of coaching with the flexibility to adapt to individual learning styles. while maintaining a consistent framework for feedback sessions provides clarity and predictability. Being open to adjusting strategies demonstrates sensitivity to the RBT's personal growth trajectory. Supervisors can create a balance by using a framework as a guide, but actively adapting based on real time observations and the RBT's feedback. Occasionally, an RBT may struggle with continuous feedback and coaching adjustments. If an RBT shows signs of resistance, it's helpful to open a dialogue focused on understanding their perspective. For example, you might ask, are there aspects of our coaching approach that feel overwhelming or unhelpful? Such conversations allow supervisors to collaboratively problem solve, ensuring that coaching methods remain supportive rather than challenging or burdensome. Effective coaching involves creating a partnership where RBTs feel empowered to tackle challenges collaboratively. Encourage them to bring specific issues to coaching sessions and work together to find solutions. Techniques like role playing and brainstorming strategies not only build their confidence, but also prepare them to handle similar situations independently. By involving RBTs in co creating solutions, you reinforce their ownership of their professional growth. Gradually shifting problem solving responsibility helps them develop autonomy while knowing that they have your support when needed. Motivation in coaching thrives when RBTs see their efforts acknowledged. Celebrate small wins like improving data accuracy and major milestones, such as successfully applying a new intervention. Framing these achievements as part of their larger professional journey reinforces a sense of purpose. Tailor recognition to the individual RBT, whether it's a verbal acknowledgement, a written note, or another form of recognition. Making it personal strengthens their engagement and commitment. This approach not only builds confidence, but also fosters a growth oriented environment. Coaching and supervision isn't just about immediate skill development, it's about helping RBTs envision their future. Work with them to set long term goals, such as pursuing advanced certifications or leadership opportunities, and revisit these goals regularly. Connect daily tasks to these aspirations to show how their current work supports broader objectives. For instance, mastering data collection or client engagement is a foundational step towards roles with greater responsibility. Finally, dynamic coaching means staying flexible. Use feedback and performance data to refine your approach, ensuring that sessions align with the RBT's evolving goals and challenges. This adaptability ensures that coaching remains meaningful and impactful. Reflection is a critical tool for supervisors seeking to refine their skills, deepen their impact, and foster a growth oriented supervision environment. Through intentional self reflection, supervisors gain insight into their strengths and areas for development, allowing them to tailor their coaching approach to better meet the needs of their RBTs. Regular self evaluation also promotes a mindset of continuous improvement and adaptability, essential for navigating the complexities of ABA supervision. For many supervisors, finding time for reflection can feel challenging. One solution is to build brief, regular check in moments into the week, such as end of day reflections or weekly reviews. Supervisors may also consider using digital tools or reflection apps to document thoughts quickly or set aside focused time each month for more in depth reflection. This can help make reflection a sustainable and meaningful part of a busy schedule rather than an added task. Consider asking yourself questions like these. How effective is your coaching in empowering RBTs to take ownership of their growth? This prompt encourages you to assess the extent to which your coaching promotes RBT independence and confidence. Reflecting on this can help identify strategies for enhancing improvement and empowerment and engagement in RBT's development. You could also ask yourself, are there areas where you could adapt your coaching to better fit in RBT's individual learning style? This question supports you to personalize the approach to supervision, encouraging that you are considering how well you're tailoring feedback and coaching to each individual RBT. Reflecting on learning styles and adaptability can help you to become a more effective and motivating supervisor in sessions. Another question you could ask is, how can you continue to refine your coaching approach to enhance engagement, skill mastery, and professional confidence in your RBTs? This prompt guides you to consider practical improvements to your coaching methods. It invites you to explore areas where adjustments could boost your RBT's confidence and skill acquisition. Recording reflections helps capture insights and track growth over time. Using structured journals, digital notes, or even voice recordings can simplify the process. Reviewing these notes periodically, such as quarterly or biannually, enables you to recognize progress, visit past challenges, and set new goals based on evolving strengths. This regular documentation also serves as a personal roadmap showing the supervisor or your developmental journey. You may wonder how to assess whether these reflective practices lead to tangible improvements. Well, some indicators include your RBT's feedback, observed growth in RBT skills, and the achievement of supervisory goals. By setting specific measurable goals for your own supervision effectiveness, supervisors can track whether their reflections and adjustments positively impact the supervision process. In addition to self reflection, supervisors can gain valuable insights by engaging in peer discussions or mentorship relationships. Peer reflection sessions allow supervisors to share experiences and receive feedback on their approach, helping them to see beyond their personal biases. Participating in or establishing a mentorship program within the ABA community fosters collaborative growth, enabling supervisors to gain new perspectives and ideas for enhancing their practice. One of the most valuable outcomes of reflection is the ability to make concrete improvements. After identifying areas for growth, supervisors can set small, targeted goals to enhance specific skills or approaches. For instance, if you notice a need for greater cultural responsiveness, then you could look at focusing on incorporating more culturally aware language or adjusting feedback to better align with RBT's backgrounds. These specific actionable changes make reflections meaningful and promote ongoing development. If you're a supervisor interested in expanding your reflective skills, you can benefit from resources such as professional development courses, reflective practice journals, or literature on reflective supervision. Engaging with these resources reinforces reflection as an integral part of effective supervision, offering practical strategies and tools for deepening self awareness. Consistency in reflective practices can sometimes wane over time. Supervisors can stay engaged in setting long term reflective goals, identifying specific areas they want to develop, or exploring diverse methods of reflection. Revisiting past reflections and observing the positive changes achieved also fosters motivation, as supervisors see firsthand how reflection leads to better outcomes. Supervisors may face challenges in maintaining objectivity in self assessment. To address this potential biases, supervisors can use evidence based reflections focusing on specific examples, RBT feedback, or performance data. Additionally, inviting trusted peers or mentors to offer feedback on reflexive insights can help provide a balanced perspective, making reflections more accurate and beneficial. If reflection highlights considerable areas for growth, supervisors should view this as an opportunity for development rather than a setback. Prioritizing specific goals, seeking professional development, or consulting with mentors can help address these areas constructively. Embracing this process supports continuous improvement, empowers supervisors to enhance their skills over time. To conclude, self reflection is a continuous journey that empowers us as supervisors to adapt, improve, and better support our RBTs. By cultivating a reflective practice, supervisors commit to a standard of excellence and responsiveness that fosters a supportive, growth focused environment for RBTs. As you move forward, consider how you can sustain and deepen your reflection practices, creating a foundation for meaningful and impactful supervision that adapts to each supervisor's needs and strengths. As we bring together the principles, strategies, and reflective practices explored throughout this training, it's clear that effective supervision is a dynamic, evolving process that requires dedication, adaptability, and a commitment to continuous learning. Each step, from collaborative goal setting to fostering self assessment and maintaining a feedback loop, builds on the last, creating a comprehensive framework for impactful and transformative supervision. Now, let's reflect on the core takeaways and revisit how integrating these practices empowers RBTs, enhances client outcomes, and strengthens the professional skills of supervisors themselves. This final section will reinforce the value of an engaged, supportive, and reflective supervision process that promotes growth at every level. The journey through growth centered coaching has underscored its transformative role in building RBT skills, confidence, and independence. This approach not only enhances technical competencies, but also nurtures the resilience and self efficacy that are critical for RBT's long term professional success. By adopting a coaching mindset that fosters empowerment and reflection, supervisors create a supportive and impactful supervision environment. Growth centered coaching is more than a supervisory technique. It is a commitment to continuous improvement that prioritizes the RBT's professional journey. An effective coaching approach builds upon the structured feedback loop established in previous steps, driving sustainable development. As a supervisor, guiding RBTs through feedback, self assessment, and skill application empowers them to become proactive and adaptive practitioners. This coaching methodology equips RBTs to manage challenges with confidence and adapt their skills to meet diverse client needs, ultimately improving outcomes for clients and promoting excellence within the field of ABA. To measure the impact of coaching over time, supervisors should consistently track specific progress markers, such as improvements in skill execution, confidence in applying techniques, and the RBT's own self reported growth. These indicators provide valuable insight into the coaching's long term effectiveness and help supervisors adjust their methods as needed. Establishing checkpoints, whether they be monthly or quarterly reviews, for example, can allow for both reflection and forward planning. To ensure coaching remains dynamic, supervisors must cultivate an adaptive, reflective mindset. This involves balancing flexibility with consistency. While a structured framework grounds the coaching process, adaptability is essential for addressing each RBT's evolving strengths and challenges. Supervisors can use both self reflection and direct feedback from RBTs to gauge when adjustments may be necessary, helping ensure that coaching aligns with the RBT's growth pace and learning style. Encouraging open dialogue about the supervision approach itself can further enhance this process. Creating a safe space for RBTs to provide feedback on their coaching experience fosters mutual respect and positions supervisors as open to continual growth themselves. By modeling transparency and openness to improvement, supervisors not only gain insights into how their methods are received, but also demonstrate the importance of constructive feedback, reinforcing a feedback rich improvement environment that supports everyone's growth. When time for supervision is limited, supervisors should prioritize high impact strategies. Focus on reinforcing core skills, maintaining regular feedback loops, and aligning goals with measurable progress indicators. These targeted actions can yield significant outcomes and keep RBTs engaged and motivated, even when time constraints require a streamlined approach. For supervisors committed to refining their goal centered coaching, continued learning is invaluable. Engaging in additional professional development, accessing peer reviewed resources on coaching, and participating in peer supervision groups can strengthen their skill set and broaden their understanding of effective coaching practices. Additional training in cultural competency, communication, and feedback methodologies can further enhance the quality of supervision, equipping supervisors with diverse tools for adapting to RBT needs and fostering an inclusive environment. By exploring these resources and remaining receptive to new coaching strategies, supervisors can continue evolving their practices, staying attuned to the latest research and best practices in ABA and professional coaching. The principles of growth centered coaching provide a framework for creating a supervision experience that is both structured and responsive to the RBT's development. By encouraging autonomy, fostering reflective thinking, and adapting methods to meet the individual needs of each RBT, Supervisors build a learning environment that champions continuous improvement and career long growth. In this reflection, I encourage you to consider the transformational potential of coaching. Embracing these principles, measuring long term impact, balancing flexibility, seeking feedback, and prioritizing targeted skill development, sets a strong foundation for both the RBT's success and the supervisor's evolution as a reflective, adaptive leader. The ongoing commitment to such practices will have a lasting influence on the quality of care provided, the strength of the supervisory relationship, and the advancement of the ABA field as a whole. Ask yourself, how can you continue to adapt your coaching to foster growth, resilience, and skill mastery in your RBTs, creating a supportive and impactful supervision experience? Feedback is a cornerstone of effective supervision, but its impact is amplified when integrated into a continuous feedback loop. This approach transforms feedback from a series of isolated interactions into an ongoing two-way process that fosters continuous growth and collaboration between supervisors and RBTs. A continuous feedback loop is more than providing occasional comments or annual performance reviews. It's a dynamic and responsive system where feedback flows consistently and reciprocally. This concept is rooted in the idea that learning and professional development are iterative processes. As supervisors, implementing a continuous feedback loop means creating an environment where RBTs regularly receive guidance that they can immediately apply, reflect on, and improve upon, while supervisors also remain open to receiving feedback about their own practices. Hattie and Timperley in 2007 emphasized the powerful impact of feedback on learning and achievement, but they also noted that for feedback to be effective, it must be specific, timely, and actionable. A continuous feedback loop ensures these qualities are met, as it provides multiple opportunities for feedback to be refined and reiterated based on real-time observations and experiences. By consistently engaging in this process, both RBTs and supervisors become active participants in a shared journey of professional growth. It can be challenging to strike the right balance between providing feedback immediately and saving it for a formal supervision session. Immediate feedback is powerful for reinforcing behaviors in the moment, but formal sessions allow for deeper reflection. A useful approach is to reserve minor adjustments or praise for real-time feedback and schedule more complex discussions, such as patterns of observation or strategic skill building, for formal sessions. This balance ensures that feedback is both immediate and thoughtfully reinforced. Creating a culture of feedback requires more than delivering guidance. It involves embedding feedback into the very fabric of the supervision process. A feedback-rich culture supports the professional development of RBTs and enhances the effectiveness of supervisors. It fosters psychological safety, where RBTs feel confident sharing their challenges and asking for help without fear of judgment. As we've discussed previously, research on Edmondson 1999 highlights the importance of psychological safety in learning environments, showing that when individuals feel safe, they are more willing to engage in open, constructive dialogue. For supervisors, building a culture of feedback starts with modeling vulnerability and transparency. This means being willing to acknowledge areas where they too can grow and inviting RBCs to share feedback about their supervision. When supervisors model a growth mindset, it encourages RBTs to adopt the same approach. This two-way feedback process not only improves RBT performance, but also enhances the supervisor's ability to support their team effectively. Managing feedback fatigue and resistance starts with balancing how and when feedback is delivered. Alternate between formats, such as verbal discussions, written notes, or self-assessments, to keep feedback engaging and avoid repetition. Tailor the frequency to each RBT's preferences, adjusting as needed to prevent overwhelm. Build trust by approaching feedback as a collaboration. Use language like, "Let's explore ways to improve this skill together," to position feedback as a shared effort rather than a directive. This reduces defensiveness and fosters a sense of partnership. When resistance arises, address it openly. For instance, if an RBT expresses feeling overwhelmed, acknowledge their perspective and explore adjustments. You could ask questions like, how can we make the feedback process feel more manageable for you? This ensures that feedback remains productive and maintains motivation. Measuring the impact of a feedback loop requires clear, observable indicators of progress. Supervisors can track RBT performance metrics, such as improved session management or increased accuracy in data collection, to see how feedback translates into concrete improvements. Self assessments and feedback journals also serve as a valuable tool for RBTs to track their growth in areas needing more focus. In addition to formal sessions, take advantage of opportunities to give more real time feedback immediately after observing RBT behavior. This reinforces positive practices and corrects areas of concern before habits form. To add value, make sure to follow up on previous feedback. For example, if you advised an RBT to use more reinforcement strategies in sessions, revisit this during your next meeting to discuss what went well and what could be improved further. In coaching, feedback becomes truly impactful when it leads to action. Acting on RBT feedback shows responsiveness and reinforces the value of their input. Whether it's adjusting your coaching style or addressing a specific challenge, implementing changes based on feedback demonstrates a commitment to their growth. Take the time to explain how their insights have influenced these changes. For example, you might say, based on your feedback, we'll focus more on taking complex tasks into smaller steps during sessions. This transparency fosters trust and collaboration. By acting on feedback, you create a coaching environment that continuously evolves to support the RBT's needs, driving both professional growth and a stronger supervisory relationship. Building a culture where feedback is a team wide practice can be transformative. Consider hosting monthly reflection meetings where RBTs and supervisors collectively review what strategies have worked well and where improvements can be made. This opens dialogue that fosters a sense of community, shared responsibility, and mutual growth. In coaching, feedback is a critical tool for skill refinement and professional growth. Reinforce positive behaviors immediately when appropriate, such as acknowledging a successful intervention. If providing feedback in the moment might disrupt the session or impact the RBT's confidence, wait until the session concludes. Begin by acknowledging the situation. I know that was a tough moment, but you handled it so well. And frame feedback constructively to discuss what worked and areas for adjustment. When addressing errors, reassure that RBTs make mistakes, and it's a natural process of learning. For example, you might say, data collection can be tricky at first, but with practice it gets easier. Let's go over it together. This approach builds confidence while providing the necessary guidance to improve. To ensure feedback is applied, follow up in subsequent sessions. Observe how RBTs incorporate feedback into their work, recognize improvements, and address challenges. For example, acknowledge progress with statements like, "You did such a great job implementing the new data collection technique." Celebrate successes with varied methods to keep feedback engaging, such as verbal praise or written notes. For more structured progress, use feedback implementation plans. For instance, if the goal is improving data accuracy, outline specific steps, set a timeline, and track progress through regular check ins. This ensures coaching is focused and measurable. A collaborative feedback loop strengthens the coaching process by creating a dynamic, two-way dialogue. Regularly ask RBTs for input on your coaching method with questions like this: what could I do differently to support you better? If hesitancy arises, reassure them that their feedback is valued and won't lead to negative consequences. To encourage candid feedback, consider using anonymous surveys to gather input on topics like the clarity of feedback and overall supervision experience. Highlight the anonymity to increase honesty, and review the results to identify trends and recurring themes. Address these themes in team meetings and share how you plan to act on their input, reinforcing the value of their feedback. Modeling vulnerability is another key component of building trust. Share your own areas for growth. You could say something like, I'm working on improving how I deliver feedback, so I'd love to hear any thoughts you have on how I can do it better. Discuss times where you've made mistakes and how you learned from them. This approach not only humanizes you as a supervisor, but it also encourages RBTs to see mistakes as a natural part of growth. During regular supervision sessions, allocate time for RBTs to share concerns or insights. For example, you could say, let's take a moment to check in. How is the supervision process working for you? Balancing openness with confidence in your leadership role demonstrates vulnerability while maintaining authority. Finally, normalize mistakes as part of the learning process. By positioning errors as opportunities for growth, you foster a supportive, trust based environment that reinforces continuous improvement and collaboration. When RBTs do share feedback, respond with understanding and without defensiveness. If an RBT mentions feeling overwhelmed by too much feedback at once, acknowledge their feelings. Thank you for letting me know. Let's discuss how I can make feedback more manageable for you. Use active listening techniques such as paraphrasing or summarizing their concerns to show that you truly understand their perspective. Prepare yourself mentally for the possibility of hearing critical feedback and remind yourself that it is an opportunity for growth, not a personal attack. Practicing deep breathing or taking a moment before responding can help you maintain composure and receptiveness. Make feedback a regular part of supervision so that it becomes a normalized experience rather than a rare or intimidating event. When RBTs are accustomed to open, continuous dialogue, they are more likely to share their thoughts honestly. Cultural norms can influence how comfortable an RBT feels providing feedback, particularly in cultures where respect for authority may discourage open dialogue. As a supervisor, it's important to acknowledge these norms and explicitly communicate that feedback is welcomed and differing perspectives are valued. To create a more inclusive environment, ask RPTs about their preferences and communication styles. For example, some may prefer private discussions to share concerns. Adjusting your approach based on their feedback can make this process more comfortable and productive. When cultural factors are a barrier, private conversations can help you understand their comfort level and tailor the feedback process to their needs. By creating a safe, culturally responsive feedback environment, you foster trust, inclusivity, and open communication. Feedback from RBTs is a powerful tool for supervisor growth. Just as RBTs benefit from constructive feedback to improve their skills, supervisors can use RBT insight to refine their supervision techniques. This feedback loop not only enhances the supervisory relationship, but also contributes to the overall effectiveness of the ABA practice. How can we utilize RBT feedback to improve as supervisors? Take time to reflect on the feedback you receive and identify actionable changes you can make. For example, if multiple RBTs express a need for clearer expectations during sessions, consider revisiting how you communicate session goals or provide written outlines. Use the feedback you receive to create your own development plan, setting goals for improvement just as you would for an RBT. This demonstrates a commitment to self improvement and models continuous learning. Just as RBTs track progress, supervisors can benefit from documenting changes they've made in response to feedback and observing the outcomes. This can be done through self assessment journals or supervisor peer reviews to see how feedback driven changes have improved the supervision process. Periodically review how changes you've implemented have affected the team. If a change has led to positive outcomes, share these results with the team to reinforce the value of their input. Celebrating successes reinforces the value of feedback and motivates RBTs to continue improving. Start by acknowledging growth when feedback is successfully applied. For example, you could say, I noticed how your consistency with data collection improved this week. Fantastic work. Personal recognition to each RBT's preferences. Some may appreciate private praise, while others thrive on public acknowledgement during team meetings. Tailoring your approach ensures that recognition feels genuine and meaningful. Lastly, use celebrations as an opportunity to inspire continued improvement. Highlight achievements and discuss how to build on them, fostering a mindset of growth and collaboration within your team. Remember that fostering a two-way feedback system does more than improve individual supervision practices. It creates a culture of mutual trust, respect, and continuous development that benefits the entire team. Supervisors who demonstrate a commitment to growth inspire RBTs to do the same, contributing to a high performing, engaged team. As we've talked about before, creating a culture of feedback is essential for sustaining continuous improvement and fostering a work environment where every team member feels engaged, valued, and empowered to grow. This culture expands beyond one on one interactions, encouraging open communication and collaboration throughout the entire team. To harness a feedback loop, feedback needs to be normalized as part of the team's everyday interactions. This requires creating a culture where feedback is expected, shared, and valued by everyone. One way to do this is through feedback roundtables, where team members openly discuss strategies they worked and areas for improvement in a structured and supportive setting. Weekly shoutouts are another excellent tool, taking just a few moments in team meetings to highlight how feedback was driven success. It's also critical to set ground rules for feedback sessions. For instance, focus on behaviors rather than personal attributes and use I statements to maintain respect. When feedback becomes a shared responsibility, it strengthens team cohesion and ensures that everyone is learning and growing together. Embedding feedback into daily routines transforms it from an occasional event into a consistent source of growth. For example, real time feedback allows you to provide immediate reinforcement or correction during sessions. Post session reflections, where you or the RBT discuss what worked and what could improve, can deepen understanding and provide a chance to align expectations. Structured routines like Feedback Fridays, where team members dedicate time to give and receive feedback, ensure consistency. When given daily feedback, balance strengths and areas for growth. For instance, you might say, "You did a great job maintaining consistency with reinforcement. Next time, let's work on pacing to keep the client engaged." These consistent and actionable insights motivate RBTs and keep feedback manageable. Even the most well intentioned feedback can cause resistance or fatigue if not handled thoughtfully. Some RBTs might feel defensive or overwhelmed by frequent corrections. To manage this, tailor your feedback to the individual. Some may need a gentler approach, while others prefer direct guidance. Alternate between real time and formal sessions to give space for reflection. Positive reinforcement is a great tool to maintain motivation. Acknowledge the wins before diving into areas for improvement. For example, you might start with, "You have shown great progress with data collection. Let's keep building on that by refining how we log intervals." By balancing constructive feedback with affirmations, you can address resistance while keeping the process encouraging. Take a moment to reflect. What signs do you notice that may indicate feedback fatigue or resistance in your RBTs? How can you adjust your approach to keep the feedback loop productive and engaging? Technology can play a key role in sustaining an effective feedback loop. You could look at tools like Trello or Google Docs or feedback specific apps that allow you to streamline feedback tracking and ensure accountability. For example, you could use these platforms to log goals, track progress, and set reminders for follow ups. Anonymous feedback apps are particularly useful if you want to encourage candid insights from your team. These tools make feedback more actionable by providing clear data on progress and allowing everyone to see how their efforts contribute to the overall team's success. The transparency and accessibility of digital feedback tracking make it easier to sustain a culture of growth. To truly harness the power of the feedback loop, it must become a natural part of your team's routine. Feedback rituals embed growth into the fabric of daily operations. Weekly debriefs allow the team to reflect on successes and challenges, keeping the feedback loop alive. Recognition boards, whether they're physical or digital, give team members a platform to celebrate each other's contributions. Feedback Fridays are another great option, dedicating time to share insights and appreciations. These rituals are not just about giving feedback, but also about celebrating its impact. For example, during team meetings, share stories of how feedback has driven positive change. This reinforces the value of continuous feedback and encourages everyone to stay engaged in the process. Let's take another moment to reflect. What rituals or practices have you established to encourage a team based approach to feedback? Are there additional ways you could celebrate and reinforce feedback driven successes? To ensure these rituals are effective, make them engaging and relevant. Solicit input from the team on how they would like to structure these practices and be willing to adapt based on their feedback. Additionally, be consistent. Rituals are most powerful when they become a reliable part of the work routine. Supervisors should actively participate in those rituals too, modeling openness to feedback and showing genuine interest in growth of the team. By doing so, they reinforce the importance of continuous learning and demonstrate that everyone, regardless of their role, is committed to improvement. Supervisors can also provide structure by setting expectations for how feedback should be delivered, ensuring it remains constructive and purposeful. Building a feedback culture is not a one time effort, it requires ongoing reinforcement and adaptation. Regularly revisiting and refining feedback practices ensures they continue to meet the evolving needs of the team. Celebrate milestones and continuously seek ways to enhance how feedback is integrated into daily routines. By doing this, supervisors can sustain a culture where feedback drives personal and professional growth for everyone. However, as teams and work environments change, so do the challenges in maintaining engagement and the effectiveness of feedback. Supervisors must remain vigilant, monitoring how feedback is received and adapting their approach to meet new demands. Whether it's addressing disengagement, exploring new formats like virtual sessions, or leveraging technology to enhance interaction, flexibility is key to keeping the feedback loop dynamic and impactful. Now, let's delve into how to tackle these challenges and take actionable steps towards creating a feedback loop that not only overcomes obstacles, but also fosters lasting improvement and engagement within your team. To maintain an effective feedback loop, adaptability is essential. Start by monitoring engagement. If an RBT who previously responded well to feedback becomes disengaged, schedule a one on one conversation to explore potential barriers like stress or workload. Be flexible in your feedback methods. As RBTs develop new skills or face difficult challenges, their feedback needs will evolve too. Adjust the frequency and format of feedback sessions to keep them dynamic and engaging. Virtual sessions or interactive tools can be particularly effective for remote teams. Finally, tailor your feedback to align with the RBT's current stage of growth. This ensures that feedback remains relevant, impactful, and aligned with their professional development journey. Flexibility, as research shows, is key to driving sustained improvement and maintaining an effective feedback loop. Implementing a continuous feedback loop requires strategic planning and actionable steps that foster accountability, engagement, and adaptability. This section provides clear research based strategies to help you integrate a feedback loop into your supervisory practices effectively. The foundation of a sustainable feedback loop is a personalized plan that is tailored to your supervision style and the unique needs of each RBT. This plan will serve as your roadmap for delivering consistent and meaningful feedback. What components are involved with a personalized plan? To maintain an effective feedback loop, it's essential to tailor feedback methods to each RBT's unique learning style and preferences. Use a mix of verbal feedback, written notes, or peer feedback sessions to match their needs. Periodically revisit your plan and gather input from RBTs to ensure that the approach maintains effective and relevant, adapting as their needs evolve. Accountability is equally important in sustaining the feedback loop. Establish regular checkpoints to review progress, track goals, and reinforce commitment from both supervisors and RBTs. These consistent reviews ensure alignment, motivation, and continuous growth. Continue to encourage RBTs to engage in self assessment before feedback sessions. This practice not only promotes self reflection, but also prepares RBTs to participate actively in discussions. As we have previously discussed, according to Hattie and Timberley 2007, self assessment fosters a greater sense of ownership and motivation. Designing self assessment tools that prompt genuine reflection, such as questions about recent challenges, areas of pride, and specific skills they want to develop. Keep the tools simple yet thought provoking to avoid them becoming mere formalities. We know how important goal setting is, as it is equally crucial for harnessing the feedback loop. It ensures feedback efforts are focused, build momentum through early successes, and keeps the team accountable to meaningful progress. Ensure that you're starting with manageable goals, creating immediate opportunities for success. And don't forget to involve RBTs in setting these goals, ensuring the feedback loop feels personalized and impactful. As initial goals are achieved, scale up to larger initiatives that deepen the feedback loop, like peer feedback systems or shared progress tracking. These long term goals reflect a commitment to sustained development. Clear, actionable goals anchor the feedback loop, providing the structure needed to maintain focus, measure progress, and sustain growth. They transform feedback from a one time effort into an ongoing process of improvement. Let's take time to reflect. What specific action will you take in the next week to initiate or improve a feedback loop in your supervision? How will you measure its impact over time? It is time for our fourth code word. Our fourth code word is data. DATA, data. Implementing a robust feedback loop in your supervision practice is not just about following a set of steps. It's about fostering a culture of continuous improvement, open communication, and shared accountability. By developing a personalized feedback plan, setting and tracking meaningful goals, regularly monitoring progress, and ensuring accountability, you lay the foundation for lasting, transformative growth within your team. Remember, flexibility and adaptability are key. Your feedback loop should evolve as your team's needs change, always aiming to promote engagement and excellence. As we come to a conclusion in our training, I want to take some time to put all of our tools together to review some case studies on common RBT supervision challenges and how to address them using the feedback loop framework. Each scenario will follow a structured approach that ensures feedback is collaborative, engaging the RBTs in the process, data driven, grounded in observations and measurable performance, actionable, providing step by step strategies for improvement, and reinforced, checking in and adjusting based on progress. By following this framework, we ensure that our feedback is effective, supportive, and that it leads to meaningful change. So, let's dive into the first scenario. Our first scenario focuses on punctuality and attendance. Consistency is crucial for both our clients and our team, and frequent lateness can disrupt the session's flow. Raise your hand if you've dealt with this concern in your RBT supervision. Here's our situation. Alex, an RBT, has been arriving 5 to 10 minutes late to multiple sessions per week. The parents of his client have started expressing frustration, and the BCBA notices session delays. When addressed, Alex responds, "Traffic is unpredictable and it's just a few minutes. I'm always staying a little later to make up for it." As Alex's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and acknowledge. "Alex, I appreciate your dedication to making up for the lost time, and I do understand that life happens. However, even a few minutes of lateness can disrupt the client's routine. Let's figure out a plan that makes it easier for you to arrive on time while also ensuring consistency for the client." Next, you want to use data and real world impact. Your session logs show that you've been late to 4 out of 5 sessions this week, which has resulted in a cumulative loss of 30 minutes of therapy time. For this client, transitions are already challenging, and when sessions start late, it increases their agitation and reduces engagement. Next, let's make it actionable and problem solve together. What's the biggest barrier, do you think, Alex? If traffic is a factor, can you leave 10 minutes earlier to adjust for delays? Would an automated reminder or alarm 30 minutes before departure help you stay on track? Lastly, you'd want to follow up and reinforce. "Alex, let's check in next week and track if the adjustments are helping. If lateness continues, we may need to explore adjusting your schedule or implementing a formal attendance policy. What do you think, supervisor? Would you have handled this in the same way? Next, let's look at the concern of session structure. A disorganized session can lead to missed intervention targets and reduce client engagement. Here's our situation. Jessica's sessions are disorganized, with excessive time spent on transitions and preferred activities. As a result, data collection and intervention targets are inconsistent. When given feedback, she responds, I just go with the flow based on what the client wants. If they're happy, isn't that a good thing? As Jessica's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and build buy in. Jessica, I love that you're prioritizing client engagement. It's so important. And it's great that you want sessions to feel positive. At the same time, structure actually helps clients feel safe and understand expectations. Next, use data and highlight the impact. During the last two sessions, only 50% of planned intervention targets were completed due to extended transitions and unstructured activities. We've also seen an increase in client avoidance behaviors when there isn't a predictable structure. Next, make it actionable and provide support. Let's build a session plan that balances engagement and structure. We'll try a visual schedule for smoother transitions, timers to limit reinforcement breaks to 2 or 3 minutes, and a task sequence mixing easy and difficult targets. Last, follow up and reinforce. I'll observe your session next week to see how these adjustments are working. We'll tweak things if a needed approach is found that works a little bit better. How about now, supervisor? Would you have handled this in the same way? All right, let's look at inconsistent data collection, one that we have all dealt with. And we know accurate and timely data collection is crucial for tracking client progress and making informed decisions. Here's our situation. Emma often delays data collection and completes it after sessions instead of in real time. When given feedback, she says, I just don't have time to take data while managing behaviors. I'll fill it in after the session. As Emma's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and address the concern. Emma, I completely understand how hard it is to balance client engagement and data collection. It's a challenge for all of us. At the same time, real-time data is crucial for tracking progress accurately and ensuring interventions are effective. Use data and show the impact. During observations, I noticed 3 instances where prompts were not recorded, which affects our ability to discern skill mastery. We also saw delayed reinforcement when data wasn't taken immediately, which may impact the client's learning. Make it actionable and offer solutions. Let's try a few strategies. I'm thinking maybe using a shorthand notation system to quickly mark responses could be helpful, or taking data during natural breaks instead of after session. How about pre-filling session notes with preset categories to speed up the completion? Last, follow up and reinforce. Let's try these strategies this week and check in next week to see which ones work best for you. What do you think about that, supervisor? Would you have handled this one in the same way? All right, here's a big one. Difficulty implementing behavior intervention plans. We know how important this is for effective treatment, and adhering to behavior intervention plans ensures consistency and maximizes client progress. So here's our situation. David modifies intervention steps without the supervisor approval. He'll say, when confronted about it, I thought this way worked better, so I just adjusted it. As David's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and acknowledge. David, I love that you're thinking critically and adapting to your client's needs. That is such an important skill. However, consistency is key in behavior intervention, and any changes need to be discussed first, please. Use data and show the importance of fidelity. During observations, the plan was altered in 5 out of 7 trials, leading to inconsistent reinforcement. We need to ensure that all staff use the same approach so that we can evaluate what's actually truly effective. Make it actionable and set expectations. David, let's go through the BIP together to clarify the correct steps. If you ever feel an adjustment might help, let's talk about it before implementing the changes. Then follow up and reinforce. I'll observe again next week and provide feedback to ensure that we're implementing the plan consistently. Y'all, this is a big one. Would you have handled it that way too? Very important to our work is pairing and building rapport. When our RBTs don't have this, it can be kind of a big deal and really impact treatment. So here's our situation. Rachel jumps straight into demands, leading to client avoidance. She says, "They just don't like me yet. They'll get used to it." As Rachel's supervisor, here are some ways you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and reframe. Rachel, building rapport takes time, and pairing really helps create a positive learning environment. Use data and show the impact. We saw a 40% increase in avoidance behaviors when pairing wasn't used. Make it actionable and provide coaching. For the first 5 minutes, engage in preferred activities before introducing any demands. Use non-contingent reinforcement to build a connection. How fun can that be? And then follow up and reinforce. I'll observe your pairing strategies next session, and we can adjust as needed. What do you think about this one, supervisor? Would you have handled it that way too? Now let's look at the concern of overprompting. Prompting should be used strategically to build independence. We know this, right? So here's our situation. Carlos relies on full physical prompts way too often, creating prompt dependency for his client. When given feedback, he responds, "I don't want them to fail, so I just help them complete the task." As Carlos's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and acknowledge. I see that you want to ensure success for your client, which is so great. I really appreciate that. However, we also want to build independence so that they can learn new skills on their own. Use data and highlight the impact. During the last observation, physical prompting was used in 90% of trials, even when the client showed signs of readiness for a lesser prompt. Make it actionable and provide support. Let's work on systematically fading prompts using a least to most approach and tracking progress and data collection. Let's set a goal to reduce physical prompting by 20% over the next 2 weeks while ensuring the client remains successful. Then follow up and reinforce. I'll observe the next session to see how the new approach is working and provide coaching in the moment if needed. What do you think about that? All right, supervisor, would you have handled that one that way? Reinforcement must be timely and consistent for behavior change, right? When our RBTs aren't using this powerful tool accurately, it can really impact treatment. So here's our situation. Megan delays reinforcement or sometimes reinforces behaviors inconsistently, which is leading to reduced motivation in the client. When given feedback, she responds, I was going to reinforce, but I got distracted by the next step. As Megan's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and clarify the importance of timing. Megan, reinforcement is the most effective when it's immediate and directly tied to the desired behavior. Timing is key for learning. Use data and show the impact. In our last observation, reinforcement was delayed by an average of 10 seconds, and the client's responding decreased over time. Did you notice that? Make it actionable and provide coaching. Let's try to keep reinforcement easily accessible so it can be delivered immediately after correct responses. And then we can practice setting a reinforcement schedule that ensures consistent delivery to strengthen skill acquisition. Then follow up and reinforce. I'll observe your reinforcement timing next session and provide feedback on consistency. What do you think, supervisor? Would you have handled that one the same way? Professionalism is key to maintaining high quality services. Wouldn't you say this is an extremely important part of our careers? When our RBTs struggle with this, it can cause all treatment to be at risk. So here's our situation. Daniel frequently uses his phone during sessions and engages in casual, non client related conversations with caregivers. When given feedback, he responds, I'll just check it quickly. It's not like I'm ignoring the client. As Daniel's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and set expectations. Daniel, I understand that a quick phone check may feel harmless, but our priority must always be to fully engage with our client. The client picks up on our attention, and disengagement can impact rapport and skill acquisition. Use data and show the impact. In our last session, Daniel, the phone was used, 3 times. And during these moments, the client's engagement dropped. Did you notice that? Make it actionable and provide clear guidelines. During sessions, your phone should be away unless used for session-related tasks like data collection. For communication with caregivers, let's set aside some structured time outside of direct therapy to take care of that. And then follow up and reinforce. We'll check in during your next session to ensure that full engagement with the client was happening. Do you have any thoughts? How about this one, supervisor? Would you have handled it that way? Feedback is essential for growth, and we've been talking about this throughout our whole training. How else can we support our RBTs who struggle with embracing feedback provided? Here's our situation. Sam becomes defensive when given feedback and resists making changes. He responds, I've been doing this for a while. I know what I'm doing. As Sam's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and acknowledge experience. Sam, I really appreciate your experience and even more so your dedication to this field. Feedback is meant to enhance your skills, not critique your abilities. Use data and encourage reflection. In our last review, the suggested changes weren't applied, and we saw no change in client progress. Let's talk about what might be preventing implementation. What do you think? Make it actionable and problem solve together. What challenges do you feel are preventing these adjustments? Let's collaborate on an approach that works for you. We'll set small, manageable goals for implementation and track progress. What do you think about that? Then follow up and reinforce. We'll visit this in 2 weeks to see if the new strategies are making an impact. Thanks for working with me on this. What do you think, supervisor? Would you have handled it that way too? All right, for our last scenario, this one's a biggie. Maintaining professional ethics ensures client trust and compliance. This is absolutely imperative for our RBTs to embrace and practice within the alignment of. So here's our situation. Samantha shares personal client details with another RBT. She says, we were just talking. It wasn't anything serious. As Samantha's supervisor, here are some ways that you can respond to this using the feedback loop. First, collaborate and reinforce the importance of ethics. Samantha, I understand that it may have felt like a harmless conversation, but client confidentiality is a key ethical responsibility. Use data and provide ethical context. The BACB Ethics Code Section 2.06 states that all client information must be kept confidential and only discussed in professional designated sessions. Was that something you were aware of? Make it actionable and provide training. Moving forward, all client discussions should take place in a designated supervision meeting. So let's schedule an ethics refresher to ensure that we're all on the same page about confidentiality. What do you think? And then follow up and reinforce. I'll follow up about our ethics review to check for understanding and discuss any remaining concerns. Here we go, supervisor. Would you have handled this that way too? As we conclude this training, it is important to reflect on the cohesive framework that we've built together. This overarching goal has been to empower supervisors with actionable tools and strategies to create a sustainable feedback loop, one that fosters RBT growth, engagement, and improved client outcomes. We've explored evidence based approaches to implementing continuous feedback loops, emphasizing collaboration, accountability, and professional growth. A data driven supervision approach lies at the heart of this framework, supporting RBTs and driving meaningful change. By integrating these strategies, you are equipped to build a feedback rich environment where both supervisors and RBTs thrive, ensuring long term success and impact. In this training, we began with collaborative assessment, the foundation of effective supervision. We discussed how identifying RBT strengths and areas for development through a structured collaborative process ensures that feedback is personalized and impactful. This step provided the data needed to inform the rest of the framework. Next, we focused on organizing goals and action plans. You learned how to use assessment insights to create clear, measurable goals that align with individual aspirations and organizational priorities. These actionable plans ensure that feedback remained focused, giving RBTs a clear roadmap for growth and progress. We then moved on to applying feedback in structured supervision sessions. This step emphasized the importance of delivering consistent, data driven feedback that was specific, actionable, and supportive. You practiced ways to ensure RBTs could implement feedback effectively to achieve meaningful improvements. Coaching for growth was our fourth step. Here we explored how to move beyond basic feedback and into mentorship. You learned strategies for tailoring coaching to guide RBTs towards skill mastery and professional confidence, fostering autonomy and a growth mindset. Finally, we focused on harnessing a feedback loop. This step tied all the previous elements together, creating a continuous two-way feedback process. You learned how to integrate regular check ins, track progress, and adapt feedback methods to keep the loop dynamic, relevant, and growth focused. This final step ensures the feedback loop remains the driving force for sustained improvement and collaboration. This training has provided you with a comprehensive framework to transition your supervision practices through a sustainable and dynamic feedback loop. Let's reflect on the most impactful insights. One of the key takeaways from this training is the importance of empowering RBTs through data driven feedback. By grounding feedback in clear, measurable assessment data, you provide actionable guidance that builds both confidence and competence. This approach ensures that feedback is not just informative, but transformative, driving meaningful growth. We also emphasized fostering a culture of collaboration and growth. A supportive environment built on open communication, trust, and two-way feedback encourages RBTs to feel valued and motivated. This culture not only enhances engagement, but also ensures continuous professional development and improved client outcomes. Another key takeaway is the importance of adaptability. Feedback methods and approaches must evolve alongside the needs of your team. By tailoring feedback to align with each RBT's growth and using assessment data to guide adjustments, you ensure the process remains relevant and impactful. And then finally, we focus on the implementing actionable strategies that drive change. Structured coaching sessions, regular feedback check ins, and progress tracking tools are all part of creating a feedback loop that is effective and sustainable. These strategies allow you to lead with confidence and achieve meaningful long term improvements. Ultimately, this training is about committing to growth, both for your team and yourself. Reflect on the most valuable insights and take actionable steps to implement these strategies. By fostering a feedback rich culture, you create an environment that supports continuous improvement, engagement, and success for everyone involved. Reflect on the most valuable insight to you from this training, whether it's structured, data driven feedback, fostering a feedback rich culture, or how to use assessment to drive RBT growth. Commit to one actionable step that you can implement within the next month, such as introducing weekly check ins or refining feedback documentation. Write down your plan and ensure follow through. Finally, envision the long term impact. Consider the improvements you aim to achieve in RBT performance, client outcomes, and your own supervision skills. This focus will help keep you motivated to build the feedback rich culture that drives sustainable growth and success. As we conclude this training, reflect on the vital role that you play as a supervisor. Your commitment to providing data driven feedback and refining your supervision practices is a catalyst for meaningful change, not only for your RBTs, but y'all for the clients that they serve and the broader field of ABA. Each piece of feedback, every goal set, and every adjustment you make empowers your team to grow and deliver exceptional care. Your dedication fosters a feedback rich environment, shaping future leaders in ABA and driving better outcomes for clients and their families. You are not just guiding a team, you are building a culture of excellence, collaboration, and continuous growth. Your efforts create a lasting ripple effect, leaving a legacy of positive change far beyond your own practice. As you move forward, remember the words of John C. Maxwell: change is inevitable, growth is optional. Embrace the mindset of continuous growth, knowing that every step you take to improve your supervision practices is a step towards greater impact and fulfillment. Using data driven strategies and staying open to learning will keep you at the forefront of meaningful change. Let your passion for helping others grow and succeed fuel your motivation. When challenges arise, see them as opportunities to grow and adapt. Your willingness to embrace continuous improvement is what we set you apart as an exceptional supervisor and leader in the field of ABA. Thank you for your dedication to this training and your commitment to enhancing the supervision practices. Your efforts to grow as a supervisor not only benefit your team, but they also make a meaningful difference in the lives of the clients that you serve. I deeply value your feedback. It is essential for refining and improving my training resources. Please take a moment to share your thoughts. What worked well, areas you'd like to see more guidance, or additional topics you'd find helpful. Your insights will help me to continue to support supervisors like you in creating impactful, feedback rich environments. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey towards excellence in supervision. This now concludes our training. You're now equipped to make a real difference, one feedback session at a time. Take these tools, put them into action, and watch your team thrive under your thoughtful and data driven leadership. Now, head on over and put your code words in and take the quiz so that you can access your CEU certificate.